to the stars. You point at my point right. You reflect off my sunglasses. Waiting for the moon on a dark night. In context to the sun, 0 to 3 is where we start. You grind on my gas pedal, red light touching my heart. In context to the moon, you pull to my full height. We black out during the eclipse and jelly roll on the comet kite. What's going on, everybody? We are live once again. What's everybody saying tonight? Happy Thursday to y'all. Friday Junior. Is everyone looking forward to the weekend? Looking forward to the long weekend here in Canada. I don't know about you Yankees. Do you have to wait next weekend? Because our holiday, our Canada Day, whatever the fuck that means, we're not even our own country. But here we go, Canada Day. We're not even a real country, but our day is on the 1st. You guys have it on the 4th. So that's on a Thursday. And I know how you Yankees operate. Which I kind of wish we operated like that. But I'm sure you guys get both Thursday and Friday off. Here in Canada, we're screwed. Like, if you get Canada Day on a Thursday, you're coming back into work on Friday. You're not getting that extra day off. That ain't happening. They ain't paying for another fucking, well, I guess it's technically you're still paying, but you ain't getting that other day off. That doesn't. Or I think the stupid Canada Day should just be attached to whatever weekend it's closest to. Or wherever it, like, as long as it doesn't pass over it. So if you have to have the long weekend in late June, so be it. That'll be Canada Day. Doesn't have to be on the 1st. Just make sure it's latched onto the weekend there. You motherfuckers. But it usually works out. It's usually on a Friday or a Monday, but you never know. It's on a Monday. So we get the long weekend. I think you guys gotta wait till next weekend. YQ the return, you're playing Fortnite? Good lord, who the fuck still plays that? I heard it's not even the same game anymore. Drums Lav, it is 2 in the morning where you're at. What's up, Optimus Prime Rim? What's up, K2? J1 versus J2. Yeah, I'm going to be watching that. I think I'm only going to have the audio on. I don't know. Will CNN take the stream down if I do? I don't know. It shouldn't be a big deal. I'll just have the audio on, I guess, and see how that goes. I guess I'll have to watch it because I'm going to have to see like Biden's face when he poops his pants. It could be boring, but it's. I'm predicting it's just going to be Donald Trump on the defense the whole time because the it's hosted by CNN, so they're just going to be picking on him and then giving Joe Biden softball questions. It'll be typical. I think. I almost think this could even be a waste of time. It's just, yeah, picking on Donald Trump, having Donald Trump just sit there and defend himself the whole time, and then giving softball easy questions to Joe Biden. And you know how it is. The media is childish. They act like children. They're biased. They're one team over the other. They're never fair. It's brutal how adults act. Like it's just brutal what how society has become. Society's become just so childish now. You can't even have a you can't even have a normal conversation with someone. Like someone's always got to be on one team or the other, and I must be biased on this team no matter what. Like, geez, I can like stuff and still be fair and criticize things. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers, but I'll sit there and trash the team all day. And it's like I like Nintendo, but I'll sit there and trash Nintendo nonstop. Like things that I don't like about it. I don't sit there. It's so much better than Xbox. Like I'm not like that. What's up, Logical Raptors fanatic? We had a good day today. Masol fleeced the Kings for like three players. Oh, did you watch the W? Or it's the W. I'm saying that more often because the WNBA is now more interesting than the NBA. But did you watch the NBA draft? I didn't watch it, but I listened to Pat McAfee today, and he was saying the French have invaded the league now. What, like the first top 10 picks were all Frenchmen. What's with the French being so good at basketball? I hope they beat up the Yankees in the Olympics. That'd be funny. Yeah, I go for the Europeans when it comes to the for the NBA. I always root for the Europeans. 'Cause they're not a bunch of bitches. Like the American NBA players are all a bunch of fucking pansies. They all just want to play on the one team. They all just want to play down south. They all just want to fucking play for one team and hoard the championships. I hate the American players. That's why I became a Denver Nuggets fan, like a sub Denver Nuggets fan. Like I knew the Raptors suck, so I have to root for someone in the playoffs just because I like Jokic and fucking what's his name's Canadian. So I like the Denver Nuggets. I hate these diva teams, and I hate the Lakers. I hate the Miami Heat. I hate Boston just because it's Boston. Like we all hate. Everyone can agree we all hate Boston. They're so spoiled with championships. I can't stand it. And then the stupid news of stupid LeBron James, stupid son who can't play basketball, obviously didn't get drafted in the first round. Did stupid Brony James? I call him Brony because fuck him. He's the son of LeBitch James, so he's a Brony. Did Brony James get drafted by the stupid Lakers? Who do you say Edie went ninth to the Grizzlies? Well, I don't know any of these players. I don't follow college basketball or anything. But I like all these like Frenchmen have invaded the league. Like good, more Europeans and less fucking bitch ass Americans. That's a rare thing that I say. I usually never root for the Europeans because they're just they dick ride soccer so fucking much. It's fucking pathetic, and they're annoying wrestling fans. But I'm cool if they're down with basketball because I can't stand these American players. Oh, so the uh, Brony went to Brony, of course, went to the Lakers. They're such a slave to LeBron. If I was a Lakers fan, I'd be like, get LeBron out of here, please. Get him out. It's time to rebuild. Like, who cares if we won that stupid mid-season tournament that no one gave a shit about? That shit was rigged anyways. Fuck it. That shit was rigged for ratings. What a garbage ass that fake term. Who cares about that? Get LeBron out of here. He's running out every goddamn coach. This fucking Anthony Davis is made of glass. Get him out of here. Like, everyone leave. Let's just get new guys. Let's try and get fucking. I'd rather have fucking Butler on this team than fucking LeBron. I'd rather get him out of here. And now we have to waste a draft pick on fucking untalented Brony when all he can do is dunk. It's like, well, anyone could dunk. It's like, so what if he could dunk? I hate the media. They hype him up and showing off his dunks. Like, who cares if he could dunk? There's undrafted players that could dunk just fine. Of course, the Lakers are just such a slave to LeBron. If I was a Lakers fan, man, I'd like, enough of this. Just get him out of here. They're not going to win us a championship. This guy runs his. He's too old to carry everything on his back. So what do we need him for? LeBron was only good when he could just carry the whole team because of his dominance. Well, he's not dominant anymore. He has flashes here and there when his arthritis isn't acting up. So like, just get it. What's the point? We're not good enough to beat the rest of these teams in the West. Like, fuck off. I don't care. Like, I'm a Lakers fan. I'd laugh at it. Since I hate the Lakers, I'm like, you're stuck with dinosaur LeBron and like fucking Anthony Davis is not going to have a healthy season. They're not going to get number one seed. They're not going to have home court advantage at all. There's no chance. I mean, Golden State could be back next year if stupid Draymond Green could stay on the court and stop choking and stomping on people. That guy should be kicked out of the league. Like, these teams are going to be back. I don't know what Phoenix is going to fucking do. They're in a bit of a mess. And I think the Clippers are sort of collapsing, right? They can't stay healthy. Just fucking retire. What's your name on the Clippers? Former Raptor. The socially awkward Kawhi Leonard. Jesus. His phony baloney injuries. I'm not buying it. No, isn't Paul George, isn't PG-13 going somewhere? I think he's leaving, isn't he? I don't know. Maybe the West will weaken out a little bit, but they always stay strong. No, the West has been strong for like 30 years. And they're hiring J.J. Redick. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Maybe. The SJWs, of course, are all angry. Oh, he's white! They're all mad because he's white because they're a bunch of fucking racist piece of shits. Racist race baiters. But it's who LeBron wants. It's whatever fucking LeBron wants. Whatever the fucking LeBitch wants, he gets. God, if I was a Lakers fan, man, I'd be like, all right, thank you for the one title, but get out of here. Please, go. Should have retired after the title. We know you're not going to get another. We know we're not going to have a full healthy season again. It ain't happening. Now you have to draft this untalented garbage player who doesn't even belong in the NBA. And he's only getting this special treatment because he's a son. I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad if I was a Lakers fan. Get him out. What a dumb organization the Lakers are right now. I wanted him to go undrafted. I want to be like, see, these NBA teams aren't fucking retarded. They're not just going with media hype and stupid bitch James always going on about how much he wants to play with his son. No, the teams will do the right thing. We're like, the guy sucks. He doesn't belong in the league. No, we're not drafting him. I thought maybe like Phoenix could, like they're desperate. It's like, oh, we need one more piece. What if we just draft Brony and then we can get LeBron over here and then maybe that'll be the piece that we need. Because he did work out with the Suns. Like that could have made sense because Phoenix just needs one more piece. But no. I don't know what Phoenix is going to do. Can they maybe get Paul George? No, Paul George is still playing pretty good. Like again, he usually takes some time off in the season at some point with some garbage injuries. Yeah, the Suns can't play defense. Ugh. Yeah, the real Laker fans, if they know anything about basketball, and I don't consider myself a basketball fan, but when I watch them in the playoffs, they're garbage. I want this team to be scrapped. I want everything to just, it's restart mode. Get rid of LeBitch. I don't even think you keep Anthony Davis at this point. What he's not the same anymore. I know he's not even that old, is he? He's not like super old. Maybe you could keep him, but man, the guy's just injury with him. That's been lasting for several years now. I would like to see the Lakers be the new Knicks. Like I want them to go on a huge fucking drought and yeah, screw them. He's no Bill Lambier. Bill Lambier's a legend because he's got the worst basketball game under his belt. The Beer Lambier basketball. Yeah, AD's up and down. Yeah, he's not as dominant as he was. Raptors didn't even get a first round, right? They like gave it up to for San Antonio for like a center or something. So yeah, I got the debate. It's not supposed to start till 8:30, and then probably will take like half hour to like change Joe Biden's diaper and lug him on stage. Get him all doped up. Make sure you put that chip inside of him. Or I got the Blue Jay game on right now. Right now they're fucking destroying the Yankees. I thought this was a clip of like maybe yesterday's game or something, but they're currently winning 8-0 in the bottom of the fourth right now. They're just whooping the Yankees right now, but but the Blue Jays they're gonna blow up their whole team. Like all these guys are gonna leave at the trade deadline. They're done. Like I don't know. They still got time to turn things around, but time is running out. They got a good like month to turn everything around. But they may end up trading everyone out. This team might blow up. Could use some prospects though, so it wouldn't be a bad idea. I just hope Vladdy can stay. I like Vladdy. I just wish he can hit more home runs, but he hits for a good average at least. Still plays good defense, so I want to keep Vladdy. But everyone else can fuck off. Like even George Springer's he's like so washed now. I didn't expect him to have such a bad season. Yeah, the Jays stank and the pitching never showed up either. We didn't make any moves in the off season, so I knew this team would stink, and I had a feeling this would happen. Now Blue Jays are gonna have to blow up. What channel will you watch the debate on? I got it on the YouTube channel, so you'll be able to hear the audio pretty good. It might be televised. I mean, I think I can get. I think there's CNN on my. I think I get CNN with my cable package. I'm pretty sure it's there. I don't know. I've never turned to CNN ever, but I got it on the YouTube channel. I checked the CNN YouTube channel, and it's a live stream there, and it's got it. I got it up already, and yep, it's on the YouTube channel. It says starts in 9 minutes. That should be good. Did you guys hear about like in some national football championships, like American football? The Americans lost to the Japanese 41-20 in American football. The Japanese beat the Americans. in American football. We don't know much about that league. I was listening to Pat McAfee. Like I heard about it on Twitter, and people were laughing at it. And then on the Pat McAfee show, it was pretty funny. They were pretty outraged. Like, what is this league? And how the hell did this happen? How the hell did the Japanese beat us by 21 points? This can't happen. It's like, and no one knows anything about this league. It was played in Canada, which is another weird thing. I think you have to like pay your own way to even to go. I think there was some backup QBs in there, like what's his name? The guy on the Patriots that just got traded. The Patriots starting QB last year. I just can't think of his name right now. I keep wanting to say Matt Castle, but he's like from the Tom Brady era. He just reminds me of Matt Castle, but I can't remember his fucking name. It'll come to me. I just sometimes I can't remember things on stream a lot of times. Oh, Mac Jones, right? Mac Jones. He was on the team. I think Kenny Pickett was on the team. Former Steelers quarterback. It showed clips of them like fumbling the ball on their own 1 yard line and shit. It's like, what's going on with this American team? Like, this can't happen. You can't have Americans losing in American football. I gotta see what happens next. I think the Canadians now play the Japanese. The Canadians are gonna win it all. Oh, that's funny to hear, though. Americans losing in American football to the Japanese of all people. Do they even know what football is? Like, how the fuck? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Trollbot. They like Japan got all their ninjas in there. We must beat the Americans at their own game. I can't do accents, but yeah, we must beat the Americans at their own game. Let's hire the ninjas. Oh shit. It's going to be on ABC. What? Really? It's a CNN thing. So, oh, but it's hosted by CNN, I guess. I guess broadcast networks are allowed to air it. Jesus, God, CNN, you can't have anything to yourselves, can you? Your shitty ratings. You can't even have your own presidential debate. That's how garbage CNN is. Any thoughts on Canadian Gamer buying an electric skateboard? Were you talking about Canadian Gamer last time, JPI? Good lord. You're a big time Canadian Gamer fan. Well, I guess he's going through that Turbo Joe midlife crisis. Is that it? Like, what is it with these weirdos getting these skateboards? Oh, I need something to do with my time. I don't want to properly exercise, and I don't want to. Too lazy to ride a bike. All right, I'll just strap my feet to these things. Those things are so dangerous and faulty. Those things had like a recall. Like the brand that Turbo Slow always shills. Those things had a complete recall because they would go out of control, and people were like fucking themselves up big time on them because they would just stop. They would just stop on a dime. You'd be riding the thing and it would just shut down completely and you just go flying. It's like, why would you ride something like that? Yeah, if something goes wrong, dude. That's dangerous. Just ride a bike, and plus you'll get exercise out of it. You're not getting any exercise strapping your feet to a board. Whee! You an idiot. And it's these garbage companies. They're not made by like good, solid companies that have a reputation. It's all these unknown independent companies. The things are going to be faulty, man. Don't ride on those fucking things. It's retarded. Turbo Butters, yeah. The Raptors got 5 players in the last 24 hours. 3 draft picks and Davion Mitchell in the 2023 EuroLeague MVP. All right, sweet. I don't know any of them, but that's good. They got some players. Oh, God. Oh, Yankees just hit a 2-run home run. Yep. 8-2. Yeah, it's in Toronto. I was thinking about going to this game. I think it's a 4-game series, but Yankees games are kind of expensive. You can get tickets a lot cheaper going to see like anyone else. Oh, what's going on here? Looks like the debate's getting ready. That's the background music for it's getting ready. I can minimize the screen. I can watch while I'm in the chat here. I guess I'll. Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna be playing any fucking game here. At least I'll just put it at a. I'll go walk over to Mora or something. We'll watch the ships come in. Do-do-do. Yeah, Smash JT wiping out on his bike. Yeah, I'll be like that. Turbo Joe even wiped out on his, I think. He like he like smashed into a car or something. What an idiot. Yeah, I don't know. Call it the midlife crisis skateboard. What's up, DJ Running? So did you beat Chains of Promethea? And did you get your Omia Trust? I think after you beat it, I think you just gotta click on something, or you gotta. I think you just gotta talk to someone or click on something, and then you'll get your Omia Trust. You got Omia and another Prish Trust. Sweet. You can get two of them. Sean Bernard, it's going to be in 31 minutes. Yeah, I figured there was going to be a pre-show. Figured it would start at 9. I got to like change. They got to change Biden's diaper and.
They cheated like dogs. They cheated like nobody's ever cheated before.
The ballot boxes have been stuffed like nothing's been stuffed before. That was hilarious. That was the funniest thing Trump ever said.
What they did in 2020 is disgraceful.
It was disgraceful. There was blatant cheating.
I call them the J6 hostages, not prisoners. I call them the hostages. What's happened? And it's a shame.
A Prish 2? I don't even know if I have Prish 2. I think I only got one Prish. Let's see here. Yeah, I got Prish. I don't think I got a Prish 2. I never bothered getting her, I don't think. I didn't know there was a Prish 2. Lion 2. Oh, I do have Prish 2. Okay. I forgot. Yeah, I think Prish 2 is Rhapsodies of Vanadil. Yeah. Prish 2. Oh, yeah, there it is right there. It's in brackets. ROV. So in Rhapsodies of Vanadil, you get another Prish. I forgot. That was a long ass time ago. Let's leave it here.
He's even tried turning it into a joke.
I was graduating from high school 300 years ago.
Still, polling shows the voters are concerned. 81% of U.S. adults think Biden is too old to serve another term. A smaller number, 55%, say the same about...
I'll have to minimize this in order to watch it, so I'm not even going to be able to... It might just be a black screen, sorry. Unless I do this. There we go.
Trump said he was
Very pro-choice.
Whoops, I'm sorry.
Very pro-choice.
then as president he spoke
Oh,
out in favor of
ad block still works on Google Chrome.
abortion ban with few
I got two different browsers open. I got
Upon the
my
Senate
Brave browser,
pass this important law and send it to my desk.
and I got Google Chrome running this thing.
changed course, speaking out now in support of states determining their own laws.
we have abortion where everybody wanted it from a legal standpoint, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. In this case, the law of the state.
Only 37%
What expansion are you going to move on to now, DJ Running? Turn the volume up for the debate? Okay, well, it'll be hard to balance my voice with the voice of the actual.
Overturned Roe versus Wade. 49% of
Like, let me know,
age
can you still
Americans
hear me over
support
this?
federal laws to ensure abortion access.
Otherwise,
For
I'd have to, like,
Biden, while
pause
recent
it
job
and then
numbers
speak, and
slowing
then
inflation point to a strong economy.
it'd be nice if I could sort
Americans
of
just aren't feeling it.
have it where I
Still,
can comfortably
the
speak
president
over
is
it.
trying to make the case that he's better
Think
on
that's
the
pretty
economy
good?
than Trump.
He's never succeeded in creating jobs, and I've never failed. I've created over 15 million jobs since he's been president.
While inflation has slowed, it is still higher than when Trump was in office, and Biden has acknowledged that
Common, or
consumers, they are
is it
feeling the
common
squeeze.
for men to
know
buy
prices are still too
skateboards to
high
reclaim
because of
childhood?
what I call
maybe
deflation
he always
and
dreamed of wanting to ride a
calling on
skateboard. And
corporations to pass their savings on to
now he can
consumers.
finally ride one. Now he can look cool
We're
on
making
top
real
of a skateboard.
progress.
I really don't
The
know.
polls show that the
I've never
economy
had the
is
desire to
still
ever
a
ride a
top issue for
skateboard.
Americans, and Biden is losing this argument to his opponent. More Americans trust Trump over Biden to handle
not gonna do
both
Rise of the
economy and
Zillarts?
inflation. On these potential
You should do Rise of the
vulnerabilities
Zealot.
of
That's the
both
first
candidates,
expansion.
The question remains, will their arguments ultimately win voters over?
Welcome to the set of the CNN presidential debate.
I'd recommend
We want
Wings of the
viewers to
Goddess
set
so that you
rules
can
of debate
unlock
so that
Walk
when
of
they watch
Echoes
it,
and
they can understand how President Biden
if
and
you
President
wanted to,
Trump
you
will be
can,
engaging with each other.
eventually
Tomorrow night, just
unlock
after
your
9
secret
p.m.
weapon
Eastern,
skill.
President
It's
Biden will enter from the right side of your
It's
screen.
usually like the best
President
weapon skill
Trump
in the
will
game,
enter from
and
the left side of your screen.
doing Wings of the
The
Goddess
podiums
will
are
unlock
8
that.
feet apart. Directly across from them,
It's got the best
the moderators,
story.
CNN's Jake Tapper and Dana Bash. Now, a reminder, this is a television studio. There's no audience. Candidates will have 2 minutes to answer questions.
Logical
and 1
Raptors, you've
minute
been
for responses
you've
and
been on
rebuttals.
beating
At
Dead
the
Cells.
moderator's
Are you
discretion,
playing
they
Dead
may
Cells
do
the
an
proper
additional
way,
minute
or
for follow-ups, clarifications, or responses.
now
Let
they've
the
made
candidate
Dead
know
Cells so
how
that
much time is left to speak.
you can just play through the
Attached to
game? You
cameras in
can
the studio and in the
you don't have to
field of view,
you don't have to play
are
it like a
timing lights.
roguelike
When
anymore.
the lights show yellow, there are 15 seconds left in a candidate's answer or response. When the lights flash red, there are 5 seconds left. And when the display is solid red, the time is up. At that point, the candidate's microphone will be turned off, and the other candidate will have their microphone turned on. My colleague, Victor Blackwell, has more on that.
Thank you, Phil. If we go behind the podiums, you can see 2 green lights. When they're on, they signal to the candidate.
Let's all take
his
bets on how
microphone is
long
off.
Canadian
When the
Gamer
green lights are off, they
fly
signal to the
face first
candidate
into the
his microphone
streets.
is off. Now I want to give
Yeah,
you a
Canadian
sense of
Gamer,
what
I'm
it
sure
will
will
look like
have
for viewers at
no
home
problem
if the
admitting
candidate
it
whose
or
microphone is off
going on camera with a
interrupts the
stretched up
candidate whose
face.
microphone is on. So I'm standing at one podium, and I'll ask Phil to come in and take the other podium. And so let's say I'm answering a question.
So you're playing it the
My
proper
light
way.
is
That's good.
green,
It's more
and I'm
fun.
speaking.
It's more
Phil's microphone
rewarding.
is off, and his green
I
lights
just
are
couldn't
not
beat the I
illuminated.
couldn't beat the
He's going to
Castlevania though
interrupt
without
me
it.
as I'm speaking, and
I had
this
to
is what it will
replay the
sound
last
like.
boss
My
so
volume
many
remains
times
constant, while
in the
Phil's
Castlevania
interruptions can be
DLC.
difficult to
Like that's
understand.
pretty legit hard.
Let's try the opposite.
That Dracula
My
takes some
microphone's now on.
practice.
Victor's microphone is off, and he's
But
going to interrupt
all the rest
me.
of the game I
My
did
volume
roguelike.
remains constant, while Victor's interruption can be difficult to
GameStop called me
understand.
today.
CNN's production team has shared this demonstration
My
with
game's
campaigns
in.
earlier today, and we're sharing it with you, our viewers.
My
so
gravity
everyone
circuit's
fully
finally in.
understands how tomorrow night will work. Now,
It's
we
coming
should
out.
note
It's available on
that when you
Amazon,
participate in
Best
this debate,
Buy.
Both campaigns and candidates have also agreed to abide by these rules.
Amazon,
Let's
Best
talk about
Buy.
one of the logistical details of this, which is that
GameStop
if it's not
and all
your
that
turn
shit.
to speak as a candidate, then your microphone is going to be muted. But I was thinking about it.
I
and
had this
thought,
pre-ordered since
you know,
late
your
March. It's
microphone might
finally
be muted,
out after several
but if you're
delays.
speaking, the audience may not hear you, but you
I'll
could still
pick that up
be
this
distracting to
weekend.
the person next to you, whose microphone the audience could hear. I mean, what do you think this could create?
I think this is a really interesting experiment in the sense that you're right, because you can't hear me as well, but people can still hear me if I raise my voice, and so just
And you're distracting me,
right.
too, as you're
and
talking.
so so does one of the candidates, and the odds are this would be Trump. Try to say the media is trying to.
You got to
silence
4
me.
boss
They don't want me
cells?
to have a
Wow.
spirited debate, so they turned my mic off so that I
Yeah,
can't
well, you're
answer.
probably better
I
than
would
at
assume that
than I
the
am.
format
I don't do the
often
cell
becomes
things.
an issue too.
The boss
The
cells,
candidates
because
at
I
least
don't
come
like
in
how
with a
those
strategy that
enemies
things aren't
just
going well,
spawn right
maybe
next
something
to you.
complain
I
about.
don't like
It's
those
usually about the moderators
teleporting.
or the format.
I don't like
It's
those
an old- it's
spawning
an
enemies
age-old
that just
foil
spawn right
in
beside
politics
you.
that they take
If you
a
like
shot
take your
throughout
eyes off the
football
game
if
for a
they're
minute,
providing Trump.
these
You know,
stupid
last
enemies just
time you
spawn
go
next
back
to you and
before
start
that,
hitting you.
to
It's
campaigns
so
before
annoying.
ago.
Like, get out of
It
here.
is
Like,
interesting. It's a
it's so
format
annoying.
that,
I don't
we
like
at
the
CNN
boss
think was very
cells.
necessary because of
Levels.
the
I
chaos
just like
last time.
playing
We
the
shot it
normal
overturned.
game.
The American people deserve to have answers on all of these legitimate questions.
But I know that's the ultimate
But
last
we'll
boss.
see. I
So
mean, you go in with
technically,
rules,
I didn't
but
beat the game
these two
fully,
candidates
but
agreed to the rules. They could also
yeah,
agree
I
to
just
break
played
them.
on
And
normal.
if
I
that
don't like the
happens,
boss
that's an interesting
cells.
challenge for the moderators. Not
Those
that
enemies
they
are
can
cheap.
are
They
very
just
talented.
like
They know what they're
teleport
doing.
right next
But
to
it
you
is
and
a
start hitting
challenge,
you.
though.
It's
You
like,
say, no, you signed a
get the
paper
fuck
that
out of
you
here.
agree to these rules, or you
You
say,
just
okay,
chip
gentlemen,
away at
are
your
you
health,
sure?
and then
Because you just ripped up your plan. Go for it.
People say,
and
how
then
you
not every
prepare,
level
you
lets you
prepare,
refill
but
all your health.
picky
It's like every
questions
other
from you and
level.
others. If you think
Yeah, it's
about
just
it, we
annoying.
had
I
a
just like the
great
regular game.
meeting just now in Philadelphia with the at the shop. You
On
saw
4
that
boss
with all
cells,
the
every enemy
wonderful people.
teleports. Wow.
We just left Faith and Freedom.
Yeah, I didn't like the
in
way they
DC,
upped the
and that was
difficulty in that.
incredible.
I think the
It was
game's
incredible
fine the
crowd.
way it is.
Governor actually telling there that while he's talking about how he prepares, which
I'd be
is
like
to sort of
watching
have
TV or
conversations
something.
with
I'll look
people in his
away
interviews,
at
he
something,
brings
and then I
up
look
crowd
back,
and
and
the
these
incredible
stupid
use the
enemies
word
just
incredible
teleport right
crowd
next to me.
flight. And he's gonna
Start
be
hitting. Like,
feeling
get
in
out!
that
Like,
room.
get the fuck out of here!
What do you think about his
They just
style
pop
of
up out of the
preparation,
blue right
since
next
he's
to you.
always done it? In
Like, this is a
environment
dumb way
where
to
the
make the
mics get
game more
cut,
difficult.
and he
I
has
just
no audience. He
gotta
might
keep
get
my
very
eyes like
bored in
glued
that
to
room.
the
There's only
screen
3
at
people.
all times. Like, this sucks. I can't even
Keep in
enjoy
mind,
this.
Aaron, the most important thing
So I
for this
just
race
didn't
for
play
this
any of the
candidate
boss cell
is
levels.
not all the people that are already commenting or made up their minds. It's just those people in the swing states who are independent or persuadable. And if Donald Trump, because of the reasons you just mentioned, has to dial back his tone 10% or 15% or 20%, for those people, the people who are wondering, is Joe
You can
Biden
play
too
with
old? Is he wrong
Castlevania
on
physics
immigration? Is he wrong
by
on wokeness?
opening the
Is he wrong on
cage in
crime?
the
Or
second
is Trump
castle
too
part
crazy
before
to be
Dracula.
president again? When if they see a more subdued Donald Trump for that subsegment of the electorate, it might actually be helpful.
Castlevania physics, so you have that stiff jump and you have that knockback. Is that what it is?
Sessions as opposed to classic, behind the podium matches. But whether he is going to absorb what he's learning there and whether he is going to
That's pretty
come
cool.
in, interrupting President Biden less than he did in 2020 in their first debate, it is an open question because he does what he wants to do.
I just want to play something else he said at the rally over the weekend.
How should I
Yep,
handle
21
this?
minutes.
Should I be tough and nasty? Or should
Just
I be,
changing Biden's diaper,
should
giving
I
him
be-
a fresh
say no,
diaper.
Should I be tough and nasty and just say you're the worst president in history? Or should I be nice and calm? And
Yeah, listen to this CNN crap where they take Trump out of context for
In
everything.
the moment,
Oh, he said everything's going to be a
ripping
bloodbath.
out the
Whoa.
moment, or is it something
They always
he
take
does
everything
so
that he
he's
says out of
going to bed that
context because
night and
they
he
act
just
like
thinks in his
children.
head, doesn't tell anybody else.
I think sometimes he plays around with these things on his own.
They
and
act like
sometimes they just seem
children. They
fake
act
because he
like
thinks it's
fucking
going to please
creeps.
Whatever crowd he's in front of, whatever's on his mind is often what he does with these crowds, and it could be anything. It could be, he's been poll testing everyone about VP at various fundraisers, and this is along the same
You can
lines.
hit the candles that are in the
As he was
background.
saying that, I think he will
You want me
be
to
both.
play
I
the
think he
game? I'm
will
not
likely
really playing the
interrupt
game.
less
It's like
because I think that's the lesson he
background
listened
pretty
to from
much.
the
But yeah,
last
I do
debate or
have.
the first debate in 2020, and I think he will be very.
Yeah, let me turn
keen
this down. I don't
for
want to
Biden.
listen to
would-
this shit. I'd rather have it silent. Got 20 minutes. All right, let's do the ambuscade battle then. Here we go. I'll get myself, since I'm here, I want to get my item, my free item that I get for doing this content. Ambuscade. Successfully complete any ambuscade the required number of times, and I'll get an item that's good to use. Clear any intense one. And I'll get another seal. And I think I have a key item already. I think I can go right into the battle, but I'm not going to play as thief. See what that is. But can you play like the whole game with that physics? Once you unlock it once, you can get it forever. I'll have to look it up because you're saying it. I don't know. I don't know what the second castle or any of that is. I've only played through it once a while ago, back when it first came out. Oh yeah, DJ Rudden, you know that Power Wash Simulator, I think comes out July 2nd. That should be after the weekend. Maybe next Tuesday. The Alice in Wonderland Power Wash Simulator DLC comes out. I think it'll be on the Switch and everything too. I think. I don't think there's a delay on any of the platforms, but I'll have to double check that. All right, so we'll do this. Get my macros. I don't know what I'll be fighting, but it should be easy on very easy, I imagine. This is the best way to make money in the game. If you got a group of six, you get a maximum of six people in here, and it's a battlefield. And every month, the battlefield changes. They'll put a different monster in. And it's a good challenging thing that they change up every month. And then people go in here and you earn currency. You can get equipment. They have the best capes in the game in the cape slot. You can build up your capes with the currency, and these are all your rewards. Tons of rewards. You earn two different types of currency, actually. One currency you make in general, and then there's this other currency that you make for doing it with other players. So they encourage you to play with other people. And you'll get a separate currency which can get you like the same stuff. And yep, they tell you how to upgrade everything, and well, there's a lot of stuff here to do. On busier servers, people are more involved in this. I play on an empty server, so doesn't look like there's anyone doing this right now. But with busier servers, there's a bit of a lineup because the game can only load up so many battlefields. So sometimes there's a lineup, and they'll give you a ticket. They'll give you a ticket number. When your ticket number goes up, then it says, okay, you're ready to enter now. But I gotta click on the book. Click on the book. Regular. What? What? No, I want intense ambuscade. Why isn't it? The fuck's going on? Did I choose one? Did I? Why is it only letting me do regular? Maybe it is on. Oh. Oh, I don't have the key item. I guess. I guess I don't have the key item. Let me check. I could have sworn I got it the last time, but maybe not. Key items, temporary. I think it's at the very bottom. Oh, yes, I only have a volume 2. Okay. So I have to get the key item. I gotta see what it is. I only need one. Clearing it. No. I gotta kill Sahagins. Oh. Okay. I gotta kill a Sahagin. Alright, so where's the closest place I can kill a Sahagin? I guess I can go Unity Warp. I know where. I guess Unity Warp. I don't know if there's any crystals that can take me. Maybe. No, they wouldn't be in quicksand caves. That's Antikin. I can only think of Unity Warp right now. I think that's probably where you would go. There might be a crystal that could lead to some, but I can't think of. Or there could be a warp. I'm just trying to think. If you're in a group, where would you go that's quickest? I gotta kill a Sahagin. Yeah, I know. They're gonna charge like $8 for 5 levels again for power wash. Like, oh man. Especially when I'm playing with DJ Running, we just get it done in like a couple hours. Oh, there's $8 right there. Okay, is there? I can go to Norg, but see if there's anywhere here. Oh, here we go. Sea Serpent Grotto. I wonder where that takes you. It might not be as good as Unity Warp. I know Unity Warp takes you at a good spot where they have to be experience wielding too. They can't just be weak ass Sahagins. I think that spot could be good. Let's just check it out. If it sucks, I'll warp back. Let's see where in the Sea Serpent Grotto will this warp take me. These are where the Sahagin lie. Hopefully it takes me deep into the place. Let's see where this is. Ooh. This looks like it's deep. This might be good. There's some Sahagins right over here too. Let's see. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. That's a Sahagin. It's cool looking fish creatures. I assume that yes, that worked. There you go. I am so smart. I am so smart. Then you can just take the geometric. Whoops. Can't you take the teleport? No, I guess you can't. You can't take the teleports back with these. Once you're in there, you're stuck. So just teleport back with the warp ring. That's exactly where you would fight Sahagins. And there's multiple Sahagins. Once you use your daily limit, you then have to kill 5. But then there's more in this zone here. Perfect. So that got my key item. That's exactly where you go. But then there's like some people that you're partying with, like, oh, I don't have that teleport. Why don't you have your geometric fonts, God damn it? If you're gonna do ambuscade, get your fucking warps. Oh, I don't have the warp. Wow, fuck. You're gonna have to go get it elsewhere then. Like, go take Unity Warp then is what I would say. Like, well, if you don't have the warp for this place, then go off on your own and take the Unity Warp. That'll take you to some Sahagin. I didn't set my home point in Mora. Go back to Mora. Oh god, I keep getting confused by the names. There we go. Princess Rescuer, did you just check your bank account? Well, you have lots of money. The best feeling is when the tax money comes in, like, yeah! Gonna take your time in Power Wash, make it worth it. I tried to play it online with people, it would break. Oh, yeah, the online is sloppy. Usually the ladder gets stuck on me. If you pick up the ladder in online mode, there's a chance that you can't get it off you. Yeah, the online mode is broken. Yeah, sometimes it just stops working entirely. Like no one can connect. Oh yeah, the game's not very stable at all. Oh, the ladder thing drives me nuts. It doesn't only just happen to me; it happens to other people too. It's just random. Oh, the stupid ladder getting stuck to you. It's like, okay, thank you for all this DLC, but can you fix the game? Can you patch it to where like the glitches stop happening? I'd rather have that than an expansion. How about fix the current game before you start making more content, you fucking idiots? Alright, now I can do intense. Now I'm just going to do it on easy. Because, yeah, these are meant for, like... They don't even tell you what level very difficult is on. 134, 129. We'll just do very easy. Sometimes I can go up to maybe easy or normal, but it depends on what it is I'm fighting. All right, so I got my number. I'm number 39, so it'll ding me in when I'm ready to go. No, DJ running. I don't like the glitches. The glitches don't need to be there. It can ruin the game. You have to like restart it. Like it's no fun when I can't do anything because a stupid ladder is stuck on me. Like that's no fun. There we go. It dinged me in. Even if you have the sound turned off, that'll still go off. Those alerts are very important. Keep things moving. All right, so I'm going to go into this battlefield. The item that I will get for completing this, these items you use so that you get double the amount of currency after you've beaten the battlefield, but I only use them when I'm with a party. The more people you have in your party, the more currency you get, so you use them when you have a party of 6, and then you get a ton of currency. Yep, so I'm fighting Sahagan. There's 3 of them there. I don't know if they're at equal strength or if that's the boss. They're probably equal strength. So you could cast Trusts in here, of course. You're hoping they add an invisible dirt mode someday. Well, that Back to the Future you had to wash the invisible something. Remember that was fucking us up? Like, what's going on with the game? How come we can't see what we're spraying? What the fuck is this? I didn't. But the description of the level even said like invisible bike or whatever. That wasn't Back to the Future. No, that was like something else. I don't know. I can't remember what that was from, but we had to like wash an invisible item. So once the dirt went away, everything was invisible. It's like, what is the game fucking up or something? Alright, I'll just fight the one on the right here first. I don't know. Thinking one of these are a mage. Get my warp ring off. Let's buff up and go fucking start slaughtering them. I like the Sahagan. They're cool looking. Evil looking fish creatures. Smoked them. That's the first Sahagan down already. Let's get this fucker. He's standing over here. What are you doing? It's a bard. The fish is playing a song. Kill the bard. Kill the bard. Oh shit, he's got like... I'm not gaining any TP. What do you do? Like a perfect dodge or something? Let's move on Let's move on to this one. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. Oh, maybe that bard has like a perfect dodge ability or something. This one's a dragoon. That one was a dragoon that I just killed. He had a wyvern summoned. And here's this bard still playing his fucking harp. It looks like his invincibility ran off. Probably had a perfect dodge. Probably like a bard. I don't know, a thief bard or something. I don't know what the fuck. Alright, so I got my 2 items. That was really easy. DJ Rudden, did you notice in this game there's someone shouting for experience points or for exemplar points or job points? I didn't see that person shouting today. It was all yesterday. The guy was spamming. You can pay to get free experience points. You pay the guy like 5 million and then You just stand there and he and all his bots will get you experience points, and all you have to do is just sit there. I haven't seen any of the shouts today. Maybe the game. I don't know if the game bans you for doing that. Maybe I don't know. I haven't seen that in years. Fucking gill sellers, or yeah, basically gill sellers. You know, currency money sellers for in game. They fucking yeah 5 million to get 500 job points and blah blah blah. 60 million to get to fucking master level 30 to 40. You gotta leave your character sitting there for quite a while. And my PC's not stable enough to have the game connect for that long. Maybe my old PC can actually stay connected, but then if you DC, then you have to like message the dude. I've done it before. I've paid money for my paladin to get to master level 20, and yeah, whenever I DC, I gotta like, hey, let me back in, because you pay them up front. Like, let me back in. My fucking disconnected. And you'll just be sitting there all night long for days and days and days, just fighting bats and shit. Fighting bats nonstop. And it's got it all on bot. Is there a newer Final Fantasy game online? Why don't you play that? Probably won't mess up your computer. Yeah, probably Final Fantasy 14 could run better. If this computer could even run it. This is not a gaming PC that I'm playing on. That could be part of the problem. But, this game runs a lot better on Windows 10. But yeah, I'm not interested in starting a whole new MMO. I've put years and years and years and years and years into this game. Like, I have several master jobs. I got like, it took me years to build up my characters. I'm not bailing on it now. So that was it. I got a couple of these adjacent. Good thing I did that. You can only get them once a month. Oh, excuse me. I think the debate's finally going to start. Gotta do these once a month, so to get my free items. Fuck, now I got hiccups. Hold on. The trick to getting away with hiccups is like make yourself hiccup, and then all of a sudden you can't hiccup anymore. But as soon as you take your mind off it, boom, hiccup. Alrighty, yeah, throw that in my stash so I don't accidentally use them. Okay, here we go. Put some sound down here. Just let me know if it's too loud or...
Georgia, a key battleground state in the race for the White House. In just moments, the current U.S. president will debate the former U.S. president as their party's presumptive nominees, a first in American history. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world to our studios in Atlanta. This is the CNN presidential debate.
This debate is being produced by CNN and is coming to you live on CNN, CNN International, CNN.com, CNN Max, and CNN Espanol. This is a pivotal moment between President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump in their rematch for the nation's highest office. Each will make his case to the American people with just over 4 months until Election Day. Good evening. I'm Dana Bash, anchor of CNN's Inside Politics and co-anchor of State of the Union.
I'm Jake Tapper, anchor of CNN's
Jake
The Lead
Tapper.
and co-anchor of
Jake
State
the
of the Union.
Vongo Tapper.
Dana and I will co-moderate this evening. Our job is to facilitate a debate between the two candidates tonight. Before we introduce them, we want to share the rules.
You mean,
of the
hey, let's
debate with
pick
the
on
audience
Donald
at home.
Trump and
Former President Trump
try
will
and
be on
make
the left
Biden
side
look
of the
good and
screen.
make
President
excuses
Biden
for
will
him?
be appearing on the right. A coin toss determined their positions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer a question and 1 minute each for responses and rebuttals. An additional minute for follow-up, clarification, or response.
How is Joe
at the
Biden going to
moderator's
issue a
discretion.
rebuttal in 1 minute?
When it's time for
He'll
a
get
candidate to
lost.
speak, his microphone will be turned on.
How
and
is he
his
gonna-
opponent's microphone will be turned off. Should a candidate
When the
interrupt
candidate, when the
his
other
microphone
candidate
is
poops
muted,
his pants,
it will be difficult
he is
to
then
understand
disqualified.
for viewers at home. At the end of the debate, each candidate will get 2 minutes for closing statements. There is no studio audience tonight.
Look at these strict
Please
time
get
limits.
notes,
My God, what is
props,
this?
Or contact with campaign staff
All
are
these
not
dumb
permitted
rules.
during
I know,
the
this is
debate.
so stupid.
By accepting our
This is
invitation
really the
to debate,
dumbest thing
both
ever. Look at all these
candidates and their
rules.
campaigns agreed
These
to
stupid time
accept
limits.
these rules.
Now, please welcome the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden.
See if he can make his way to the stage. Stupid zombie. Stupid zombie Biden. Weekend at Bernie's. Like, is he attached to strings? He doesn't know where he is right now.
45th President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Oops. Oh, God.
Gentlemen, thanks so much for being here. Let's begin the debate, and let's start with the issue that voters consistently say is their top concern, the economy. President Biden, inflation has slowed.
How
but
about illegal
prices
immigration?
remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. You can get a little bleach in your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do is...
Yeah, it's because of the liberals and their Dr. Fauci. That was the liberals that were to blame for that.
We brought out in a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, but there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still...
Yeah, the liberals fucked everything up.
Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come from a household where the kitchen table, if things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem.
The liberals that blocked everything Trump had to do. And
housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination, what I was left with in corporate greed, is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created, I said, those jobs. We make sure we had a situation where we brought down the price of prescription drugs, which is a major issue for many people, to $15 for an insulin shot as opposed to $400. No senior has to pay more than $200 for any drug, all the drugs they can include.
All the drugs you can take.
In the situation, and we're going to make that available to everybody, to all Americans. So we're working to bring down the price of around the kitchen table, and that's what we're going to get done.
They ain't working on shit.
Thank you, President Trump.
We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. We have never done so well. Everybody was amazed by it. Other countries were copying us. We got hit with COVID, and when we did, we spent the money necessary so we wouldn't end up in a Great Depression, the likes of which we had in 1929. By the time we finished, so we did a great job. We got a lot of credit for the economy, a lot of credit for the military, and no wars, and so many other things. Everything was rocking good. But the thing we never got the credit for, and we should have, is getting us out of that COVID mess. He created mandates. That was a disaster for our country. But other than that, we had given them back a country where the stock market actually was higher than pre-COVID, and nobody thought that was even possible. The only jobs he created are for illegal immigrants and bounce-back jobs, a bounce back from the COVID. He has not done a good job. He's done a poor job, and inflation's killing our country. It is absolutely killing us.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
President
been a
Biden.
disaster.
There's
no debate on that.
He's the only one who thinks that, I think.
He's the only one who thinks that.
We have the greatest economy in the world. And, the fact of the matter is that we find ourselves in a situation where his economy, he rewarded the wealthy. He had the largest tax cut in American history, $2 trillion. He raised a deficit larger than any president has in any one term. He's the only president other than Herbert Hoover who's lost more jobs than he had when he began, since Herbert Hoover. The idea that he did something that was significant. And the military, when he was president, they were still killing people in Afghanistan. He didn't do anything about that. When he was president, we were still finding ourselves in a position where you had a notion that we were this safe country. The truth is, I'm the only president this century that doesn't have
I agree, Legend and Elder.
That doesn't have any troops dying anywhere in the world like he did.
President Trump, I want to follow up if I can.
Am I allowed to respond to him?
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up. You can do whatever you want with the minute that we give you. I want to follow up. You want to impose a 10% tariff on all goods coming into the U.S. How will you ensure that that doesn't drive prices even higher?
It's not going to drive them higher. It's just going to cost countries that have been ripping us off for years, like China and many others in all fairness.
China.
It's going to just force them to pay us a lot of money, reduce our deficit tremendously, and give us a lot of power for other things. But he made a statement. The only thing he was right about is I gave you the largest tax cut in history. I also gave you the largest regulation cut in history. That's why we had all the jobs. And the jobs went down, and then they bounced back, and he's taking credit for bounce-back jobs. You can't do that. He also said he inherited 9% inflation. No, he inherited almost no inflation, and it stayed that way for 14 months. And then it blew up under his leadership because they spent money like a bunch of people that didn't know what they were doing, and they don't know what they were doing. It was probably the worst administration in history. There's never been.
It's the worst.
Is concerned,
Take a
I
shot.
was getting out of Afghanistan, but we were getting out with dignity, with strength, with power. He got out. It was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country's life.
It's classic Trump.
Years, under both of your
It's always the worst,
the
always the
national debt
best,
soared
always
to
the
record highs.
Oh, it's
and
great.
According to a new nonpartisan analysis, President Trump, your administration approved $8.4 trillion in new debt, while so far, President Biden, you've approved $4.3 trillion in new debt. So former President Trump, many of the tax cuts that you signed into law
Boy, it looks
expire
hilarious.
next year. You want to extend them and go even further, you say. With the U.S. facing trillion-dollar deficits and record debt, why should top earners and corporations pay even less in taxes than they do now?
Because the tax cuts spurred the greatest economy that we've ever seen just prior to COVID. And even after COVID, it was so strong that we were able to get through COVID much better than just about any other country. But we spurred, that tax spurred. Now, when we cut the taxes, as an example, the corporate tax was cut down to 21% from 39%, plus beyond that. We took in more revenue with much less tax, and companies were bringing back trillions of dollars back into our country. The country was going like never before, and we were ready to start paying down debt. We were ready to start using the liquid gold right under our feet, the oil and gas right under our feet. We were going to have something that nobody else has had. We got hit with COVID. We did a lot to fix it. I gave him an unbelievable situation with all of the therapeutics and all of the things that we came up with. We gave him something great. Remember, more people died under his administration, even though we had largely fixed it. More people died under his administration than our administration, and we were right in the middle of it, something which a lot of people don't like to talk about. But he had far more people dying in his administration. He did the mandate, which is a disaster, mandating it.
And
The
called
vaccine
people
went out, he
racist
did
for
a
calling it
mandate
the
on
Wuhan
vaccine,
virus.
Which is the thing that people most objected to about the vaccine. And he did a very poor job, just a very poor job. And I will tell you, not only poor there, but throughout the entire world, we're no longer respected as a country. They don't respect our leadership. They don't respect the United States anymore. We're like a third world nation between weaponization of his election, trying to go after his political opponent, all of the things he's done. We've become like a third world nation, and it's a shame. The damage he's done to our country, And I'd love to ask him, and will, why he allowed millions of people to come in here from prisons, jails, and mental institutions to come into our country and destroy our country.
President Trump, we will get to immigration later in this block. President Biden, I want to give you an opportunity to respond to this question about the national debt.
He had the largest national debt of any president in a 4-year period, number one. Number two, he got $2 trillion tax cut, benefited the very wealthy. What I'm going to do is fix the tax system. For example, we have 1,000 trillionaires in America. Billionaires in America. And what's happening? They're in a situation where they, in fact, pay 8.2% in taxes. If they just paid 24%, 25%, either one of those numbers, they'd raise $500 billion, I should say, in a 10-year period. We'd be able to wipe out his debt. We'd be able to help make sure that all those things we need to do, child care, elder care, making sure that we continue to strengthen our health care system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden.
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare because all of these people are coming in. They're putting them on Medicare. They're putting them on Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. This man is going to single-handedly destroy Social Security. These millions and millions of people coming in, they're trying to put them on Social Security. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. So he was right in the way he finished that sentence. And it's a shame. What's happened to our country
tried to.
in the last 4 years is not to be believed. Foreign countries, I'm friends with a lot of people, they cannot believe what happened to the United States of America. We're no longer respected. They don't like us. We give them everything they want, and they think we're stupid. They think we're very stupid people. What we're doing for other countries, and they do nothing for us. What this man has done is absolutely criminal.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
This is the first presidential election since the Supreme
Yeah,
Court
they're both
overturned
criminals.
Roe v. Wade. This morning, the court ruled on yet another
Criminals
abortion
with different
case,
agendas.
temporarily allowing emergency abortions to continue in Idaho, despite that state's restrictive ban. Former President Trump, you take credit for the decision to overturn Roe v. Wade, which returned the issue of abortion to the states.
Correct.
However, the federal government still plays a role in whether or not women have access to abortion pills.
You're talking about killing
They're
babies.
used in
Like this
about
is something that
2/3
needs
of
to
all
be
abortions.
discussed.
As president, would you block abortion medication?
First of all, the Supreme Court just approved the abortion bill, and I agree with their decision to have done that.
Oh,
I will
wow.
not block it.
Well, he agrees with killing
And
babies.
If you look
Okay.
at this whole question that you're asking, complex but not really complex. 51 years ago, you had Roe v. Wade, and everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, 10 years ago or so, they started talking about how many weeks and how many this, getting into other things. But every legal scholar throughout the world, the most respected, wanted it brought back to the states.
Yeah,
They
he
did
doesn't
that.
have to be a
Now the
dictator about it.
states
If he
are
wants the
working it out.
demonic
If you look at
states to
Ohio, it
kill
was a
babies,
decision
then
that was-
have
it was
at
a-
it.
An end result that was a little bit more liberal than you would have thought. Kansas, I would say the same thing. Texas is different. Florida is different.
Right.
But they're all making their own decisions
Right.
now. And right now, the states control it. That's the vote of the people.
Right.
Like Ronald Reagan, I believe
That's how
in
it
the
should be,
exceptions.
whatever.
I am a person that believes. And frankly, I think it's important to believe in the exceptions. Some people, you have to follow your heart. Some people don't believe in that. But I believe
Some people
in the
think it should be
exceptions
outlawed,
for
should have
great
no right to
incest
kill your own
and the
babies,
life
but
of the mother. I think it's very important. Some people don't. Follow your heart. But you have to get elected also. And
I think that's
that
the
has to
safe
do
way to
with
go.
other
Just
things.
let the
You gotta get
states
elected.
decide.
The problem they have is they're
Trigger way
radical
too many-
because they will take the life of
Like,
a
women are
child in
stupid.
the
You gotta
8th
get their
month, the
vote.
9th month, and even after birth. After
Unfortunately,
birth, if you look
that's
at
how you
the
get your
former
vote.
governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, "We'll put the baby aside, and we'll determine what we do with
it's
the
almost
baby, meaning
shameful.
We'll kill the baby." What happened is we brought it back to the states.
I know I don't
and the
support
country
abortion
is
either.
now coming together on this issue. It's been a great
But he needs to
thing.
protect his vote because women are very fucking
It's a terrible
stupid.
thing, what you're
That's
doing.
the sad
The
part
fact
about
is
it. So
that
you have
the
to
vast majority of
say,
countries
well, we'll
in
just leave it up to the
supported
state
Roe
then.
v.
Even though,
Wade.
yeah, it should be
Supported Roe.
outlawed, but
And that's this idea that they're all against it is just ridiculous.
the criminals need to be
And this
voted
is the
in,
guy
so
who
that's
says
the right
states
thing to
should be able
say.
have it. We're in a state where in 6 weeks you don't even know whether you're pregnant or not, but you cannot
These
see a doctor.
shithole states
and
can
have him
fucking
decide on what
go
your
about
circumstances
murdering
are for
babies.
you
Oh,
to
it's
help.
terrible.
The idea that states are able to do this is a little like saying we're going to turn civil rights back to the states. Let each state have a different rule. Look, there's so many young women who have been, including a young woman who just was murdered, and he went to the funeral. The idea that she was murdered by an immigrant coming in to talk about that. But here's the deal: there's a lot of young women who are being raped by their in-laws, by their spouses, brothers and sisters.
Not as common as
It's
he's.
just ridiculous, and they can do nothing about it. And they try to arrest them when they cross state lines.
Thank you.
Shut up, Biden. That's a
Many
fucking
young
idiotic
women
thing to say.
murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. And in many cases, it's frankly
The
a very
borders
liberal
are a joke.
decision. In
Even
many
like
cases, it's
YouTubers
the
have
opposite.
accidentally.
But they're voting,
What was that?
and it's bringing it back
That
to the vote of
Mexican
the people,
YouTuber
which
that
is
like
what
accidentally
everybody
filmed
wanted,
all these
including
immigrants
the
just
founders,
flooding the
if they
border.
knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have done. Everybody wanted brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back, and many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people, and that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
Staying on the topic.
I know
of
Trump
abortion,
didn't build the
President
wall,
Biden,
nor did
7
he handle
states-
COVID right. He should
let you
have
do that.
buried Dr.
This is
Fauci.
insane.
That's why I don't trust
7
Donald
states
Trump. Like,
have
I
no
thought he
legal
handled COVID
restriction
terribly.
on how far into a pregnancy
Terribly.
a woman can obtain an abortion. Do you support any legal limits on how late a woman should be able to terminate a pregnancy?
The deaths were
Roe
even
v.
false
Wade.
reported. There was so much
There are 3
propaganda
trimesters.
surrounding it.
First time is between the woman and the doctor. Second time is between the doctor.
Like the flu
and an
disappeared, and
extreme
then
situation.
it was
The
COVID
third
agenda.
time is between the doctor. Between
It's
the
like
woman and
flu
the
deaths
patient.
dropped
The
by
idea
like
that the
85%.
politicians-
So basically,
the
just
founders want
COVID took over what the
politicians
flu
to be
was.
the ones making decisions about women's health.
It
is
was- it
ridiculous.
was
That's the last. No
such a
politician should
bullshit
make that
agenda.
decision. A doctor should be making those decisions. That's how it should be run. That's what you're going to do. And if I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it.
That's
so
fucked up.
He's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen.
can find it.
Democrat or Republican, nobody wants it to happen.
That is simply not true. The Roe v. Wade does not provide for that. That's not the circumstance. Only if a woman's life is in danger, she's going to die. That's the only circumstance in which that can happen. But we are not for late-term abortion, period. Period, period.
Under Roe v. Wade, you have late-term abortion.
It's
you can do
happening.
whatever you want, depending on the state. You can do whatever you want. We don't think that's a good thing. We think it's a radical thing. We think the Democrats are the radicals, not the Republicans.
For 51 years, that was the law. 51 years, constitutional scholarship said it was the right way to go. 51 years, and it was taken away because this guy put very conservative members on the Supreme Court. He takes credit for taking it away. What's he going to do?
Shut up with the
What's he
Supreme
gonna do,
Court.
in fact, if the
You got away with a
Republicans
stolen
get
election.
elected and
The
MAGA
Supreme Court
Republicans
threw it
control
out,
Congress,
even though there was
and they pass
blatant,
a universal
100%
ban on
proof of
abortion,
stolen
period,
election.
across the board at 6 weeks or 7 or 8 or 10
Fucking
weeks. Something very, very conservative. If you're
Supreme
gonna
Court
sign that
couldn't be
bill,
any more liberal.
I'll veto it. He'll sign it.
Thank you.
Let's turn now to the issue of immigration and border security. President Biden, a record number of migrants have illegally crossed the southern border on your watch. Overwhelming border states and overburdening cities such as New York and Chicago, and in some cases causing real safety and security concerns. Given that, why should voters trust you to solve this crisis?
Because we worked very hard to get a bipartisan agreement that not only changed all of that, made sure that we are in a situation where you had no circumstance where they could come across the border with the number of border police there are now.
Well, how about a wall?
Number of asylum officers significantly. By the way, the Border Patrol endorsed my position. In addition to that,
because they don't have to work.
When he was president, he was separating babies from their mothers, putting them in cages.
Yeah, that's where they belong. How about a gun turret?
That's not the right
How
way to
about
go.
shot on
What I've
sight?
done since I've changed the law,
How about that?
what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where...
Fuck you, bud. Deport them all. Now, how about that? Round them up.
Legally, it's better than when he left office. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban.
Fuck you. You guys blocked the wall.
The total initiative relative to what we can do with more Border Patrol and more asylum.
Useless Border Patrol that actually escorts these illegals in. Your corrupt Border Patrol. How about a wall
we had the safest border
and gun turrets? How about that?
The border, all he had to do was leave it. All he had to do was leave it. He decided to open up our border, open up our country.
I'd rather have Skynet protect the border.
From prisons, people that are from mental institutions, insane asylum, terrorists. We have the largest number of terrorists coming into our country right now. All terrorists, all over the world, not just in South America, all over the world. They come from the Middle East, everywhere. All over the world, they're pouring in. And this guy just left it open. And he didn't need legislation because I didn't have legislation. I said, close the border. We had the safest border in history. In that final couple of months
in history.
of my presidency, we had,
take another shot.
The Border Patrol, who is great, and by the way, who endorsed me for president, but I won't say that, but they endorsed me for president. Brandon, just speak to him. But look, we had the safest border in history. We had the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it. And people are dying all over the place, including the people that are coming up in caravans.
President Trump.
He called him Brandon.
The only terrorist who's done anything across the border is one who came along and killed three, under his administration, killed an Al-Qaeda person come in his administration, killed three American soldiers. That's the only terrorist that's there. I'm not saying that no terrorist ever got through, but the idea they're emptying their prisons, we're welcoming these people, that's simply not true. There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying.
Your cities are overrun by criminals and gangs.
Carry out, quote, the largest domestic deportation operation in American history, unquote. Does that mean that you will deport every undocumented immigrant in America, including those who have jobs, including those whose spouses are citizens, and including those who have lived here for decades? And if so, how will you do it?
Just 1 second. He said we killed three people. The people we killed are al-Baghdadi and Soleimani, the two greatest terrorists, biggest terrorists anywhere in the world. And it had a huge impact on everything, not just border, on everything. He's the one that killed people with the bad water, including hundreds of thousands of people dying and also killing our citizens when they come in. We are living right now in a rat's nest. They're killing our people in New York, in California.
He's like, fuck this question.
Because we don't have borders anymore. Every state is now a border. And because of his ridiculous, insane, and very stupid policies, people are coming in and they're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen. We call it migrant crime. I call it Biden migrant crime. They're killing our citizens at a level that we've never seen before. And you're reading it like these three incredible young girls over the last few days. One of them, I just spoke to the mother, and he just had the funeral for this girl, 12 years old. This is horrible what's taken place. What's taken place in our country, we're literally an uncivilized country now. He doesn't want it to be. He just doesn't know. He opened the borders. Nobody's ever seen anything like. And we have to get a lot of these people out, and we have to get them out fast because they're going to destroy our country. Just take a look at where they're living. They're living in luxury hotels in New York City and other places. Our veterans are on the street. They're dying because he doesn't care about our veterans. He doesn't care. He doesn't like the military at all.
No, they hate
and
them.
He doesn't care about our veterans. Nobody been worse.
Yeah, fuck the
I
veterans
have
is what the
approval
liberals
rating for
go
veterans,
by.
Taking care of the VA. He has the worst. He's gotten rid of all the things that I approved. Choice that I got through Congress, all of the different things I approved, they abandoned. We had by far the highest, and now it's down in less than half because he's done all these great things that we did. And I think he did it just because I approved it, which is crazy. But he has killed so many people at our border by
Thank you,
allowing
President Trump.
all of these people to come in.
President
and it's
Biden.
a very sad day in America.
President Biden, you have
Every single thing you said is a lie. Every single one. For example,
Really?
veterans are a hell of a lot better off since I passed the package.
New York is
1
completely
million of them now
jam-packed.
have insurance, and their families have it. Their families have it because what happened, whether it was Agent Orange or burn pits, they're all being covered now. And his group opposed that. We're also in a situation where we have great respect for veterans. My son spent a year in Iraq, living right next door to those burn pits, came back with stage 4 glioblastoma. I was recently in
Turbo
France,
Joe's still living at home, popping
and I
pills,
spoke to all about
riding
those heroes that
skateboards.
died. I went to the World War II cemetery, World War I cemetery he refused to go to.
Making friends
He's
with
standing
fat
in the courtyard
incels named
general,
Level 1
and he
Online.
told me, he said,
You
"I
don't care
wanna
for the
go there because
veterans.
They're a bunch of losers and suckers." My son was not a loser, was not a sucker. You're the sucker. You're the loser.
You're the
First of all,
sucker.
that was
You're
made
the
up,
loser.
quote, Suckers and losers. They made it up. It was in a third-rate magazine that's failing, like many of these magazines. He made that up. He put it in commercials. We've notified him. We had 19 people that said I didn't say it. And think of this. Who would say I'm at a cemetery or I'm talking about our veterans? Because nobody's taken better care. I'm so glad this came up, and he brought it up. There's nobody that's taken better care of our soldiers than I have.
Yes, take another shot.
Generals and others say suckers and losers. We have
Nobody's
19
taken
people
better care than
that
I
said
have.
It was never said by me. It was made up by him, just like Russia was made up, just like the 51 intelligence agents are made up, just like the new thing with the 16 economists are talking. It's the same thing. 51 intelligence agents said that the laptop was Russia disinformation. It wasn't. That came from his son, Hunter. It wasn't Russia disinformation. He made up the suckers and losers, so he should apologize to me right now.
4-star general standing aside.
I love Trump. He's hilarious. It's the only reason why I want him
That's number
president.
one.
He's so funny.
And number two,
It's always the best,
idea-
always the worst,
idea
always
that I
the...
have to apologize to
Everything's
you
always the
for
greatest or the
along line.
best
We've
in
done more for
history.
veterans than any president has
It's like
in
take a
American
shot whenever he says that.
American history. And they now are in their families. The only sacred obligation we have as a country is to care for our veterans when they come home and their families and equip them when they go to war. That's what we're doing. That's what the VA is doing now. They're doing more for veterans than ever before in our history.
Oh yeah, the Russian. Oh yeah, the
Top of the
PP.
foreign policy. I
The
wanted to
Russian
begin with
hooker or
Russia's
whatever.
War against Ukraine, which is now in its third year. Former President Trump, Russian President Vladimir Putin says he'll only end this war if Russia keeps the Ukrainian territory it has already claimed.
Let him have it.
And Ukraine abandons its bid to join NATO. Are Putin's
Yeah,
terms
fuck
acceptable
Ukraine.
to you?
First of all, our veterans and our soldiers can't stand this guy. They can't stand him. They think he's the worst commander-in-chief, if that's what you call him, that we've ever had. They can't stand him. So let's get that straight. And they like me more than just about any of them. And that's based on every single bit of information. As far as Russia and Ukraine, if we had a real president, the president that knew, that was respected by Putin, he would have never invaded Ukraine. A
Oh
lot of
God, I don't know
people are
about
dead right
that.
now, much more than people know. You know, they talk about
I don't know
numbers.
though.
You can
Trump was
double
able to
those
get
numbers,
the
maybe triple
tensions
those
between
numbers.
North Korea and
He
South
did nothing
Korea
to stop it. In fact,
a
I
lot
think
better. He
encouraged
got
Russia
Kim
for going
Jong
in.
to shut the
I'll tell
fuck
you what
up.
happened. He was so bad with Afghanistan. It was such a horrible,
But I don't know about
embarrassing, most
this.
embarrassing moment in the history of our country. That when Putin watched that and he saw the incompetence, that he should have fired those generals, like I fired the one that you mentioned, and so he's got no love lost. But he should have fired those generals. No general got fired for the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country, Afghanistan, where we left.
There's another one.
Equipment behind.
The most
We left
embarrassing
13
moments.
Beautiful soldiers.
Take
and
another
38
shot.
Soldiers were obliterated. And by the way, we left people behind too. We left American citizens behind. When Putin saw that, he said, "You know what? I think we're going to go in and maybe take my."
He's making a good
this
point
is
actually.
dream."
He
I
saw
talked
the
to him
weakness
about it.
involved. There
His
was
dream.
no
The difference is
retaliation.
He never would have invaded Ukraine. Never. Just like Israel would have never been invaded.
Trump probably would have put him in his
a
place.
million years by Hamas. You know why? Because Iran was broke with me. I wouldn't let anybody do business with them. They ran out of money. They were broke. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for anything. No money for terror. That's why you had no terror at all during my administration. This place, the whole world is blowing up under him.
President Biden?
Never heard so much malarkey in my whole life. That's the matter is that we're in a situation where, let's
Malarkey.
take the last point first. Iran attacked American troops, caused brain damage for a number of these troops, and he did nothing about it. Recently, not when he was president. They attacked. He said they're just having headaches. That's all it is. He didn't do a thing when the attack took place, number one. Number two, we got over 100,000 Americans and others out of Afghanistan during that airlift. Number three, we found ourselves in a situation where, if you take a look at what Trump did in Ukraine, this guy told Trump, do whatever you want, do whatever you want. And that's exactly what Trump did to Putin, encourage him, do whatever you want. And he went in. And listen to what he said when he went in. He was going to take Kyiv in 5 days, remember? Because it's part of the old Soviet Union. That's what he wanted to reestablish, Kyiv. And he, in fact, didn't do it at all. He wasn't able to get it done. And they've lost thousands and thousands of troops, 500,000 troops.
President Trump,
I never
come back
said
to you
that.
for 1 minute. I just
You know
wanna
what
go back to
Putin
my
calls
original question,
Biden
which is,
followers?
are Putin's
Useful
terms
idiots.
acceptable
Or not
to you?
Biden,
Keeping the
Putin.
territory in Ukraine.
No, they're not
Putin
acceptable.
calls the liberals
But
useful
look,
idiots.
This is a war that never should have started. If we had a leader in this war, he led everybody along. He's given $200 billion now or more to Ukraine. He's given $200 billion. That's a lot of money. I don't think there's ever been anything like it. Every time that Zelensky comes to this country, he walks away with $60 billion. He's the greatest salesman ever. And I'm not knocking him. I'm not knocking anything. I'm only saying the money that we're spending on this war, and we shouldn't be spending, it should have never happened. I will have that war settled between Putin and Zelensky as president-elect before I take office on January 20th. I'll have that war settled.
There we go. He
People
said it.
being killed so needlessly, so stupidly, and I will get it settled, and I'll get it settled fast before I take office.
Biden's like, oh shit.
The fact is that Putin's a war criminal. He's killed thousands and thousands of people. And he has made one thing clear.
Yeah, he's
He
running
wants
under
to
no fear
reestablish what is
because they got this
part of the Soviet
retard running the
Empire.
United
Not just
States.
a piece. He wants all of Ukraine. That's what he wants. And then you think he'll stop there? Do you think he'll stop when if he takes Ukraine? What do you think happens to Poland? What do you think of Belarus? What do you think happens to those NATO countries? And so if you want a war, you ought to find out what he's going to do, because if in fact he does what he says and walks away, by the way, all that money we give Ukraine and from weapons we make here in the United States, we give them the weapons.
You gave
not the money.
weapons to Russia
And I
to
know
free
that
a tranny
as
freak
much
out of prison,
funding
Biden.
for Ukraine as we have. That's why we're strong.
Thank you.
You
Moving on to the
gave
Middle East.
weapons to
In
Russia to
October,
free
Hamas
Bob
attacked
Greiner
Israel,
out of prison.
killing more than 1,000 people and taking hundreds of hostages. Among those held and thought to still be alive are 5 Americans. Israel's response has killed thousands of Palestinians and created a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. President Biden, you've put forward a proposal to resolve this conflict, but so far Hamas has not released the remaining hostages, and Israel is continuing its military offensive in Gaza. So what additional leverage will you use to get Hamas and Israel to end the war? You have 2 minutes.
Number one, everyone from the United Nations Security Council straight through the G7 to the Israelis and Netanyahu himself have endorsed the plan I put forward. Endorsed the plan I put
Well, we know
forward.
Trump's stance
There's
on
2
that.
stages to
We
it.
must
The
protect.
first stage
We
is
must protect
the-
my bosses
the
in Israel.
Hostages for a ceasefire. Second phase is a ceasefire with additional conditions. The third phase is the end of the war. The only one who wants the war to continue is Hamas. Number one, they're the only ones standing out. We're still pushing hard to get them to accept. In the meantime, what's happened in Israel? We're finding that the only thing I've denied Israel was 2,000-pound bombs. They don't work very well in populated areas. They kill a lot of innocent people. We're providing Israel with all the weapons they need and when they need them. And by the way, I'm the guy that organized the world against Iran when they had a full-blown intercontinental ballistic missile attack.
Yeah, it's
on
like
Israel.
Joe Biden. You're the
No
current
one's hurt.
president.
No,
If you
one
plan to
Israeli
do this,
was actually
why aren't you doing it
killed,
right now?
it stopped.
You plan to
We
do this
saved
after
Israel.
you
We are
get
the biggest
reelected?
producer
Why don't you
of
get on it
support
right
to
now?
Israel
You're the
anyone in the world.
current
And
president.
so they're two different things. Hamas cannot be allowed to be continued. We continue to send our experts and our intelligence people to how they can get Hamas like we did Bin Laden. We don't have to do it. And by the way,
Bin
greatly
Laden.
weakened Hamas. Greatly weakened, and they should be.
Your
They should
phony
be
baloney
eliminated.
Bin Laden
But
witch
you've got to be
hunts.
careful
The guy
for
that
what
used to
you
be
use as weapons
CIA.
among population.
Bin Laden. Bin Laden's
Just going
so
back to Ukraine for
stupid.
1 second. We have an ocean separating us. The European nations together have spent 100 billion, or maybe more than that, less than us. Why doesn't he call them and say, you got to put up your money like I did with NATO? I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. The Secretary General of NATO
Biden's
said
face.
Trump did the most incredible job I've ever seen. They wouldn't have any. They were going out of business. We were spending almost 100% of the money was paid by us. He didn't do that. He's getting all. You got to ask these people to put up the money. We're over $100 billion more spent, and it has a bigger impact on them because of location, because we have an ocean in between. You got to ask them. As far as Israel and Hamas, Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one that wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
President Biden, do you have a minute?
I've never heard so much foolishness.
Well, what do you think
This
about
is the guy
that?
who wants to get out of NATO. You're going to stay in NATO? He's going to pull out of NATO.
I'm actually a little
The
surprised by
idea
that
we
answer.
our strength lies in our alliances as well. There may be a big ocean, but we're ever able to avoid a war in Europe, a major war in Europe? What happens if, in fact, you have Putin continue to go into NATO? We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on all. You want to start the nuclear war he keeps talking about, go ahead. Let Putin go in and control Ukraine and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then.
Oh, please, he's
There's no
barely
reason
taken
to
over
stop him.
Ukraine.
And by the way, I got
The
50
meat
other
grinder
nations
over
around
there.
the world to support Ukraine, including Japan and South Korea.
Think he's
Because
gonna
they
pull a
understand
Hitler?
That this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we spend all the money. So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European nations because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States. And they were no cars, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture. I changed that. But the big thing I changed is they don't want to pay. And the only reason that he can play games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this, I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question, would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time. And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and worry that you'll do it again?
Good God, January 6th. They're so obsessed.
About January 6th. On
Biggest
January
bullshit.
6th, we had a great border.
It was
Nobody
very
coming through,
disappointing
very
because
few.
no one got
On
killed and it
January
was just
6th,
a
we were
joke.
energy independent. On January
They didn't
6th,
put
we had the
Nancy
lowest
Pelosi in
taxes
prison.
ever.
They didn't do
We had
anything.
the lowest
It was a
regulations
failure.
ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over
They got
the world.
escorted around the
All
White
over the
House
world, we
and
were
then sent to
respected.
prison.
And then he comes in.
All the
and we're now
libtard
laughed at
snowflakes.
like
They
a bunch of
stormed the
stupid people.
Capitol.
What happened to
They
the
were let
United
in. They were
States'
escorted.
reputation
It was
under
all
this
on
man's
camera.
leadership is
Fucking
horrible,
retards.
including weaponization, which I'm sure at some point you'll be talking about. where he goes after his political opponent
January
because he can't beat him
6th.
fair and square.
I can't stand
You
the
have 80
snowflakes and their
seconds
little
left. My question
crybaby
was,
session
what
over
do you say to
January
those
6th.
voters who
That was a
believe that you
joke.
violated your constitutional oath through your actions?
Any
in action on
retard
January
triggered by
6th,
that, like
2021,
you're like
and worry
hang
that you'll do it again?
yourself.
Well, I didn't say that to anybody. I said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but she's saying, oh, no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this. Because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down, the mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see, I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some National Guard or whatever. And I offered it to her, and she now admits.
But it was
that
all
she
set up.
turned it
They
down,
purposely
and
let
it
them
was
in.
The same day she was.
They opened the gates, they let them in
because it made her into a liar.
to set
She
it
said,
all
"I
up,
take full
to set up
responsibility
Trump, to
for
make him look
January
like he
6th."
did it. He encouraged it.
Look,
There was no
he encouraged
resistance.
those folks to go up on Capitol Hill. Number one, I sat in the dining room off the Oval
And Tucker
Office
Carlson
and sat
showed the
for 3
video
hours.
of the security
3 hours
guards
watching,
escorting them around the White
being
House.
begged by his vice president and a number of his colleagues on the Republican side as well to do something, to call for a stop, to end it. Instead, they talked about these people being patriots and great patrons of
Oh,
America.
where?
In fact, he says he'll now forgive them for what they've done.
Oh,
They have
no.
been convicted. He says he
They all
wants to-
took
he wants to
selfies
sentence
inside
them.
of a fucking White
Say
House.
no, he went to
Took
every
pictures
single
of
court in
Nancy
the nation.
Pelosi's
I
office,
don't know how many cases.
smiling with selfies. Like,
Scores of cases. including
whoa,
state
it was such a
and they
threat to
said-
democracy.
They said, no, this guy is responsible for doing what was done. He did do a damn thing, and these people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are
Yeah,
being held
actually,
accountable.
January 6th
He
would have been
wants to get
successful
all
if they
out,
all would have
and
came
now
in
he
there
says that he
and
knows
threw
as
all
much
you
as
guys in
minor as
prison.
it is, that there could be a bloodbath.
And your
Thank you,
blatant
President Biden.
election
President Trump?
election theft. You
What
should
they've
be.
done to some
It's
people
treason.
that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people when they ripped down Portland, when they ripped
No,
down,
instead January 6th just went in there. Hey
many
guys,
other
look at me! I'm
cities.
taking a
You go to
selfie.
Minnesota, Minneapolis. What
are
they've
you
done
doing?
there
If you're gonna
with
storm the
fires
Capitol,
all over
get
the
the
city.
job
If I
done.
didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would
January
have been
6th.
destroyed. When you look at all of
Give me
the
a fucking break.
They took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that. They saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing. The
Throw 'em in prison for
Committee,
killing
which is
babies and
basically two horrible Republicans that are all
blocking the
done
border
in
wall,
office,
stealing the
and
election.
Democrats, all
No, they
Democrats.
don't. They stormed the Capitol.
destroyed
Oh, look at
and
me,
deleted
Nancy
all
Pelosi's
the
office.
information
Ah,
because
click,
they
click.
found out we were right. We
The
were right.
fuck kind of
And they
storming of the
deleted and
Capitol
destroyed
was
all
that?
the information. They
It was
should
a
go to
failure. It
jail
was
for that.
dumb.
If a Republican did that, they'd go to
Thank
jail.
you, President Trump. President Biden, I want
Next
to give
time
you
you
a minute.
storm the Capitol, do it right.
The this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now. And the fact of the matter is, he is
Because they didn't storm the Capitol. If they actually wanted to storm the Capitol, they would have done it right. But they were just, here, come on in. Come on in. Check out the White House. Take some
And
pictures.
all those people, every one of those.
Haha,
guys
we got him.
is turned over desks.
We're going to make them look like
turned over
terrorists
statues.
now.
The
Haha.
idea that those people are patriots? Come on. When I asked them the first two debates we had, first time around, I said, will you denounce the Proud Boy? He said, no, I'll tell them to stand by. The idea he's refusing, will you denounce these guys? Will you denounce the people we're talking about now? Will you denounce the people who attacked that Capitol? What are you going to do?
You attacked the Capitol. I know.
I'm going to give you a.
Yeah, you were told when you were young that there were snipers on the roof. Yeah, they could have just mowed down whoever the fuck they wanted. It was all a setup.
You said if reelected, you would quote.
It was the
have every right
dumbest.
to go after, unquote, your
It was
political
so
opponents.
stupid.
You just talked about
It's one of the
members
dumbest
this select
moments in
committee
American
on
history,
January
next
6th
to
going jail.
9/11,
Your
blah, blah,
political
blah.
opponent is
It's
standing on
so
stage with you
retarded.
tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political
Something for the
opponents?
little snowflake liberals to cry about.
retribution is going to be
January
success. We're
6th.
gonna make this country
Oh, it's the worst day in
successful again,
American
because right now it's a
history.
failed nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted
Something
felon,
for the
his son is a
snowflakes to
convicted
cry
felon
about.
at a very
Try
high
and
level.
use
His son
against
is convicted.
their
Going to be convicted probably
political
numerous
rivals.
Other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor having to do with the son. This man is a criminal. This man, you're lucky. You're lucky. I did nothing wrong. We'd have a system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
There's videos of people stealing ballot
I
boxes
did anything wrong relative to
and putting up Bristol board on the windows so that the watchers,
Number two, the idea
the
that
vote
you have
watchers,
rights
whatever
to
you
seek
call them,
retribution
couldn't see
against
what they were
any
doing.
American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with. And think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars do you owe in civil penalties for molesting a
People
woman,
filming rigged
for
voting
doing a whole range
machines,
of
like
things, of having
it's
sex with a porn
100%
star
proof the
on
election
the
was
night
stolen. Like
while your wife
it
was
couldn't be
pregnant.
any more obvious.
What are you talking about? You have the morals of an alley cat.
Such a shit show.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star, number one. Number two, that was a case that was started and moved. They moved a high-ranking official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll numbers went up, way up. You know that because you're reporting it. And we took in more money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history of
Yeah, this
any
everything. This has
campaign. I don't
helped.
think any campaign has ever taken. Hundreds of millions of dollars came pouring in because the public knows.
You know,
it's
this
a
witch
scam,
hunt has just
and
helped
it's a guy
Trump.
that's after his political opponent because he can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump.
These
President
other croops
Biden,
get
you
to
have
get-
said, quote, Donald
get,
Trump and
they
his
get away
MAGA
with treasonous
Republicans
crimes.
Are determined to destroy
But
American
Trump goes onto this
democracy.
petty little
Do you
case
believe that the tens of millions
that
of
didn't break
Americans
any
who are
laws.
elected to vote for President Trump will be voting against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes. The more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming out. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you heard any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? Do you ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again until I saw what happened in Charlottesville, Virginia. People coming out of the woods carrying swastikas, torches.
No, there
and
weren't.
singing the same anti-Semitic file they sang when back in Germany. And I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? The people who are the ones who got killed?"
Oh yeah, the non-existent
The ones
Nazis that are
killed. I
running
think they're
around.
Fine people on both sides. What American president?
0.0001% of the population.
Torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas. We're fine people. This is a guy who says Hitler's done some good things. I'd like to know what they are. The good things Hitler's done, that's what he said. This guy has no sense of American democracy.
Bunch of fucking...
Jake, both of you know that story's been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on this. So he just keeps it going. He says he ran because of Charlottesville. He didn't run because of Charlottesville. He ran because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it, and I know it. It's ridiculous. We have a debate. We're trying to justify his presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. he made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place.
Exactly.
Every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that.
That
as
is
an
the
excuse
biggest
to run.
nonsense story.
President Biden?
And debunked. It happened.
It
All you
wasn't
have to do is
debunked.
listen
We
to what
had
he said at the
independent
time.
reporters
And the idea that somehow
debunk
that's the
all
reason
of
I ran.
that.
I ran because I was worried a guy like this guy could get elected.
Those were good
He
people
thought
down in
they were
Charlottesville.
good people coming out of that
There's no
forest,
Nazis
carrying
running
those
around.
woods, carrying those torches. Then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying.
Oh, we saw the people being escorted. They saw the people just
Look,
getting
there's a
let
reason
in.
Why 40 of the 44 top cabinet
Yeah, we do
officers
see the truth.
refused to endorse him this time. His
And they were
vice
all
president
taking
had to
selfies and smiling.
so why? Why? They know him well. They serve with him. Why are they not endorsing him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
That was disastrous, Biden. Disastrous. Yeah, I know. That Charlottesville thing, what the fuck? I know the libtard audience will believe like anything, but that was hugely debunked. The media tried to paint it like it was this giant Nazi fucking meeting. What idiot got hit by a car or something like that? There were no swastikas. Like, there was independent reporters filming the whole thing, interviewing people. There were no fucking Nazis amongst that crowd. Like, it's hard to find footage of, like, actual fucking full-fledged KKK/Nazis around. Not saying they don't exist at all, but man, it's like 0.00001% of the population, probably in the state of Arkansas. It's not like this huge rise of Nazism or anything like that. It's very, very condensed. And that incident was not what the media painted it out to be. That was when they're on their big Nazism scare tactic phase. That goes way back. I'm surprised they even brought that up. That was embarrassing. Oh my god. Commercial break? This is the first commercial break they had. Where are they going to have their closing sentences right now or something? Should be over at 10. Yeah, no, it's hard to find, like, actual Nazis being filmed or groups, like, they're not a thing, really. Yeah, the Charlottesville thing was blown way out of proportion, the media. But, you know, the media was at full force, like, they thought they could get away with everything back then. There was so much fake news, it got way out of control. You gotta think, like, things have gotten a lot better since. I mean, we had all those shootings. Not saying there's not any shootings that are happening now, but there was way more shootings, way more false flags involving, like, police brutality, way more things involving, oh, these Nazis are going crazy. Like, it was a lot worse back then. Like, what was that? 6 years ago or so? You are seeing a lot less of it. The media can't get away with this shit as much anymore, it seems. Can the players... No. No. Final Fantasy 11 players can't hear this. No, they can't hear the sounds of what I'm doing. That'd be awesome if they click on my character and they can, like, hear me speak. Or no one... Yeah, why don't they talk about the Democratic terrorists, the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter? Why don't you bring that up? Oh boy.
Welcome back to the CNN presidential
hope they see them. I hope they see them like exit afterwards. We'll see if Biden can find his way off stage.
Again in the second term. President Biden, while black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, black families
Who gives a fuck about this topic?
than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge they made a lot of progress, number one. The fact of the matter is there are more small black businesses that have been started than any time in history. Number two, the wages of black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number three, we're trying to provide housing for blacks.
Then why are the black voters? How come Trump can go into the ghetto and get a massive crowd around him? He can go into the Bronx. Everyone's there for Trump.
In addition to that,
how come the black vote's been lowest in Democratic history?
The choice that black families have to make relative to child care is incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce black child care costs. I cut them in half. We've got to make sure we provide for child care costs. We've got to make sure, because when you provide those child care protections, you increase economic growth because more people can be in the job market. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that any black family, first-time home buyer, should get a $10,000 tax credit to be able to buy their first home so they can get started.
That's racist.
We're in a situation where all those black families and those black individuals who provided had to take out student loans that were ballooning, that if they were engaged in nursing, doctor, and anything having to do with volunteerism, if they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest was forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for black families.
Thank you, President Trump.
That's
insane.
insane.
He caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families and just about everybody.
Well, yeah.
It's killing people. They can't buy groceries anymore. They can't. You look at the cost of food where it's doubled and tripled and quadrupled. They can't live. They're not living anymore. He caused this inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his Green New scam and all this money that's being thrown out the window. He caused inflation. As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even
Back to
20
the border
million
again.
people. They're taking black jobs.
They're taking our black jobs.
You haven't seen it yet. But you're gonna
Yeah,
see
homie,
something that's
taking
gonna
our
be
jobs,
the
bitch.
worst in our history.
Thank you.
Taking our jobs, nigga.
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat.
It went from
on its
took our
back.
jobs to
50%
taking our jobs,
unemployment.
nigga.
He decimated the economy. Absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. It provided thousands and millions of jobs for individuals
Ugh.
who are in all
Bounce
communities,
back
including
jobs.
minority communities. We made sure that they have health insurance. We have covered, if the ACA has increased, I made sure that they're $8,000 per person in a family to get written off for health care. But this guy wants to eliminate that. They've tried 50 times. He wants to get rid of the ACA again, and they're going to try again if they win. We find ourselves in a position where the idea that we're not doing any...
Yeah, there's a catch to that,
put
though.
more police on the street than any administration has. He wants to cut the cops. We're providing for equity and making sure people have a shot to make it. There's a lot going on, but in inflation, he caused it by his tremendous malfeasance in the way he handled the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis. 2023 was the hottest year in recorded history, and communities across The country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat, intensifying wildfires, stronger hurricanes, and rising sea levels. Former President Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take
Rising
any
sea
action
levels.
as president to slow the climate crisis?
Let
Okay,
me just go back to
the
what
sea
I
levels
said about
hasn't rose
police,
at all.
How close the police are to them. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is supporting Donald J. Trump. Almost every police group. And what he's done to the black population is horrible, including the fact that
He's staying on this. Why would he want to talk about something so ridiculous like climate?
Super predators was his name, and he called it to him for 10, and they've taken great offense at it, and now they see it happening. But when they see what I did,
where we
for
gain
criminal
more and more
justice
ice
reform
year after
and
year,
for
the polar bear
historically
population
black,
keeps
colleges
rising.
and universities, where I funded them and got them all
Seasons
funded,
change.
and the
Go figure.
opportunity zones
Shut up with the
with
climate
Tim,
crap.
As you know, Tim Scott was
shove it up your
incredible. He
ass.
did a great job. Great senator
Idiot.
from South Carolina. He came to me with the idea, and it was a great
Stupid
idea. It's one of the
CNN.
most successful economic development acts ever in the country. Opportunity
They keep
zones.
burying him on the
And
black
the biggest
people topic.
beneficiary are blacks, and that's why we have the best numbers with them in maybe ever. They're saying ever. I read this morning where ever, the best numbers. He's lost much of the black population because he's done a horrible job for black people. He's also done a horrible job for Hispanics. But wait till you see these millions of people pouring into our country, and they're going to take the jobs, and it's already started, and you haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
You 38 seconds left, President Trump.
Yeah,
will you
just
take
ignore the
any
stupid
action
climate
as
crap.
president to slow the climate crisis?
So I want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air, and we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers ever.
He's gonna
And we
pull a
did-
Trump, though. He
we
can't
were
just.
using all forms of energy, all forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my
That's all we
top
really
environmental
want,
people
clean
gave
water
me
and
that
clean air,
statistic just
exactly.
before I walked on the stage, actually.
None of it's causing fucking climate
I don't know where
change.
the hell he's
Even
going.
if.
The idea that anything he said is true. I passed
We don't got to go into this weird carbon conspiracy crap that'll cool the planet down by a half degree.
We find ourselves, and by the way, black colleges. I came up with $15 billion for HBCUs.
It's all been
historic black
debunked.
universities and colleges. Because
If
they
you
don't
believe in
have they
climate
don't have the
change,
kind of
like
contributors
hang
that
yourself.
they
You're a
have
retard.
to build these laboratories and the like. Any black student is capable in college of doing any white student can do.
This is the
We just
last
have the
thing
money
that you
now
should
to
be
able to
talking
get
about.
those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that he is claiming to have done something that had the cleanest water, he hadn't done a damn thing for the environment. He pulled out of the Paris Peace Accord, Climate Accord. I immediately joined it because if we reach 1.5 degrees Celsius at any one point, there's no way back. The only existential threat to humanity is climate change, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. He wants to undo all that I've done.
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion.
Yeah, thank God.
And China nothing, and Russia nothing,
Yeah.
and India nothing. It was a ripoff of the United States.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And I ended it because I didn't
Yeah,
want to
thank
waste
you,
that
Trump.
money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones. It was costing us money. Nobody else was paying into it.
That was
And
one
it
of Trump's
it
best
was a
moves.
disaster. But everything that he said just
Blocking
now, I'll
that
give you an
shit.
example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in. They want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people. But we're destroying our country. They're taking over our schools, our hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
The idea is that we, in fact, we were the only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything if we're not able to, the United States can't get its under control? One of the largest polluters in the world, number one. We're making significant progress. By 2035, we will have cut pollution in half. We have made significant progress, and we continue to make progress. We set up a climate corps where thousands of young people will learn how to deal with climate, just like the Peace Corps. And we're moving in directions that are going to significantly change the elements of cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims that he has the biggest heart up here, and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate. I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one, voluntarily. I made sure every company.
No, once we deport all the criminals, build a fucking wall, and get food back to affordable prices, then we'll worry about Captain Planet. All right,
for many older
let's get
Americans,
the
Social
crisis
Security
out of the way
provides a
first.
critical lifeline. President Biden, if nothing is done to Social Security, seniors will see their benefits cut in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
Yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share. Right now, everybody making under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a paycheck from the time the first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're going to, I'm proposing that everybody, they pay, the millionaires pay 1%.
I think the poor people should pay as well. How about the freeloaders? So you're gonna punish the wealthy and reward the freeloaders. That's the problem.
Begin to make the wealthy begin to pay their fair share by increasing from 1% beyond to be able to guarantee the program for life.
A lot of the wealthy are actually productive in society. I think the freeloaders should pay up or get sent out of the country. How about that?
Is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent. But the biggest thing I'll do if we defeat this man, because he wants to get rid of Social Security. He thinks there's plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare, both times. And that's what. And if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he, I believe, supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before. And on the ACA, as I said, you're in a circumstance where 400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. The only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where I talk about education for black communities. I've raised the amount of money for Pell Grants by another $8,000. So anybody making under $70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 towards the tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
So I've dealt with politicians all my life. I've been on this side of the equation for the last 8 years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. I've never seen it. He can
I've never seen anyone lie like this guy.
So many other things too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story that he made up is a total lie on the military. It's a disgrace. But Social Security, he's destroying it. Because millions of people are pouring into our country, and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens.
I love how he keeps bringing up the illegals.
To our veterans.
Keep hammering them.
Our veterans are living in the street, and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing, and it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden?
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said
really, you can look up many videos and vlogs.
Fired that general.
Veterans out in the street with no health care.
Because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it, number one. Number two, the idea that we're going to be in a situation where all these millions and millions, the way he talks about it, illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world, the reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increase and go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States.
President Biden, thank you so much. Let's turn to the cost of child care, which many American families struggle
According
to
to
afford.
blue-haired
President Trump,
feminists,
both you and President Biden have tried to address this issue, but the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000 a year per child. For many families, the cost of child care for 2 children is more than their rent. In your second term, what would you do to make child care more affordable?
Just to go back, the general got fired because he was no good. And if he said that, that's why he made it up. But we have 19 people that said I didn't say it, and they're very highly respected, much more so than him. The other thing is, he doesn't fire people. He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the
This
swamp.
fucking
They were
Biden's
no
face,
good.
man.
Not easy to fire people. You'd pay a price for it, but they were no good. I inherited these people. I didn't put them there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good. I fired him. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He never fires. He should have fired every military man that was involved with that the Afghanistan.
Anyone
horror
knows
show.
something about
The most
firing people,
embarrassing
it's
moment
Trump.
in the history of our country. He didn't fire. Did you fire anybody? Did you fire anybody that's on the border that's allowed us to have the worst border in the history of the world? Did anybody get fired for allowing
The worst
15
border
million
in the
people,
history of the world.
Many from prisons, many from mental institutions. Did you fire anybody that allowed our country to be destroyed? Yeah, our country is being destroyed as you and I sit up.
Oh,
here and
everything's
waste a
always
lot of
the
time on this
worst.
debate.
Everything's
This shouldn't
always
be
the
a
worst.
debate.
Everything's always
He's
the
worst
best.
president.
I love
He
it.
just said about me
So
because
funny.
I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country. Now all of a sudden he's trying to get really tough on the border.
I
and
say
come out and came
I
out
say
with a
Obama was
nothing-
way
A
worse.
nothing deal. And it reduced
He
it a little
drove
bit. A
everything
little
into
bit,
insanity.
Like this much. It's insignificant.
With the race, he brought
wants
back
open borders.
racism, like
he
he
wants
brought
our
back-
country to
he
either
brought
be destroyed Or
insanity.
he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If
bomb
he
2
wins
countries,
this
like-
election, our country doesn't have a chance.
Barack
not even a
Obama, yeah.
chance
I think Obama's
of
way
coming
worse.
out of this rut.
He was so
we probably
destructive.
won't have a country left anymore.
Like,
That's
he's
how
the
bad it is.
reason why
He is the worst
liberals are in
history
such
by
a
far.
fucked
Thank you,
up
President
mental
Trump. President
state.
Biden?
We're
Was
the
their
most
worship
admired
of
country in the
Obama.
world.
He
We're
was
the
evil.
United States of America. There's nothing
Like,
beyond
Joe
us.
Biden can't get away
We're
with
the
shit.
finest
He's
military in the history of the world.
retarded.
The
But
finest in the
Obama
history
had
of the
that
world.
slick tongue.
No one thinks we're weak. No one wants to screw around with us.
Obama's the
Nobody.
worst president
Number
in
one.
history.
Number two, the idea
He was-
that we're
he was
talking about
dangerous.
worst presidents. I wasn't joking.
So
Look it up,
sinister.
Go online. 159 or 58.
He was
Oklahoma,
frightening
exact
at
number.
times, Obama.
Presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who was the worst president in American history. Best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not conjecture. He can argue they're wrong, but that's what they voted. The idea that he is doing anything to deal with child care, he did virtually nothing to child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have
Thank you, President
child care
Biden.
facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make child care more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so you understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me. I'll show
He's
you,
the
I will
worst
say,
in American
and they
history.
rate
How
me
come
one of the
his
best, okay?
rallies-
And if I'm given another 4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best.
Hundreds of thousands of
Nobody's
times
ever
more than him.
Created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us.
Nobody
He's the
shows
only
up
one
to
I know.
his
He wants to
rallies.
raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants the Trump tax cuts to expire, so everybody.
I know,
including
who's
the
these
two of
voting?
you,
Like,
are
what
gonna
is
pay
this
4 to
voting
5
crowd? What are
times.
you talking
Nobody
about?
ever heard of this before. All my life, I'd grow up and I'd see
There hasn't been a-
politicians talking about cutting taxes.
There hasn't
When we
been a
cut
president
taxes,
that's had
as I
this much
said,
support
we did
since,
more
like,
business.
Reagan.
Apple and all these
What are you
companies,
talking about?
They were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
President Biden?
Look, the fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about. He's increased the tariff. He will.
No one
increase
cares about the child
the,
care topic.
Taxes on middle class people. I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But this tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country. You know what the economists say? That's going to cost the average American $2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that we're importing. Number two, he's in a situation where he talks about how he has not raised, he somehow helped the middle class. The middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You had the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are at the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you, President Biden. Thank you,
$160
President Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made a top priority in your first term, the opioid crisis. And for both of you, the number of overdose deaths in this country has gone up. Under your term, it went up. Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both
the
of you
United
have
States
made,
blew up
more
the
than
Twin
100,000
Towers to
Americans
obtain
are dying
that
from
opium.
overdoses every year, primarily from fentanyl.
That's
and
the
other
reason why they
opioids.
blew
What
up
will
the
you
World
do to
Trade
help
Center?
Americans right now in the throes
Was to
of
take all of
addiction who are
Afghanistan's
struggling to get the
opium.
treatment they need?
To finish up, we
How
now
about the
have
fentanyl
largest
crisis?
deficit in the history of our country under
Why
this
don't we
guy.
address
We
that?
have the largest deficit with China.
How do we get what's actually
He gets
killing
paid by
people?
China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something. But
You know, the
you
drugs
notice
are
he
just
never
allowing
took
to
out
come
my
in and
tariffs because we bring in so much money
put on
with
the streets
tariffs
time
that are
after
imposed
time. Your
on
corrupt
China.
mayors
He never took them away. He can't
not
because
doing
it's
anything
too
about
much
it.
money. It's tremendous, and we saved our steel industries, and there was more to
Oh,
come.
they won't talk about
but
that,
he hasn't
will
done
they?
that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history of our country, and he's got the worst situation with China. China's going to own us if you keep allowing them to do what they're
China
doing to
already
us as
does
a
own
country.
us.
They are killing us as a country, Joe, and you can't let that happen. You're destroying our country.
So, President Trump, you have 67 seconds left. The question was, what are you going to do to help Americans in the throes of addiction right now who are struggling to get the treatment they need?
Jake, we were doing very well at addiction until the COVID came along. We had the 2.5, almost 3 years of like nobody's ever had before, any country, in every way. And then we had to get tough. And it was the drugs pouring across the border it started to increase. We got great equipment. We bought the certain dog that's the most incredible thing that you've ever seen, the way they can spot it.
They're the most incredible dog that's ever
We were getting
made.
very low
been
numbers,
bred.
very, very low numbers. Then he came along. The numbers, have you seen the numbers now? It's not only the 18 million people that I believe is even low because the gotaways, they don't even talk about gotaways. But the numbers of the amount of drugs and human trafficking in women coming across our border, the worst thing I've ever seen, at numbers that nobody's ever seen under him because the border's so bad. The number of drugs coming across our border now is the largest we've ever had by far.
President Trump, thank you, President Biden.
He's really burying them on
and
the border.
Fentanyl went down for a while. And I wanted to make sure we use the machinery that can detect fentanyl. These big machines that roll over everything that comes across the border.
Oh, wow.
And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together, this bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more
Fentanyl
to be able to
machines.
detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more numbers of all the people at the border. And when we had that deal done, he called his Republican colleagues and said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically." No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines. And we're coming
Fentanyl
down
machines.
very hard in every
I'm voting for
country
Biden.
in Asia in
I
terms
can't
of
vote, obviously,
precursors for fentanyl. And Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology to be able to put it together. That's what we have to do. We need those machines.
We need the fentanyl
Thank you,
machines.
President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right
All
now.
right,
struggling
Biden,
to get
I'm
the
holding you
treatment
up
they
to
need.
that. If you win,
Because this does pertain to it.
I better be seeing those
He ended
fentanyl
remain in
machines.
Mexico. He ended catch and release. I made it catch and release in Mexico, not catch and release here. We had so many things that we had done, hard negotiations with Mexico, and I got it all for nothing. It's just like when you have a hostage. We always pay $6 billion for a hostage. Every time we say it's a hostage. Now we have a hostage, a Wall Street Journal reporter, I think a good guy, and he's over there because Putin is laughing at this guy, probably asking for billions of dollars for the reporter. I will have him out very quickly as soon as I take office. Before I take office, I said by literally as soon as I win the election, I will have that reporter out. He should have had him out a long time ago, but Putin's probably asking for billions and billions of dollars because this guy pays it every time. We had 2 cases where we paid $6 billion for 5 people. I got 58 people out, and I paid essentially nothing.
Thank you, President Trump. Dana?
Let's turn to concerns that voters have about each of you. President Biden, you would be 86 at the end of your second term. How do you address concerns about your capability to handle the toughest job in the world well into your 80s?
Well, first of all, I spent half my career being criticized being the youngest person.
Drugs and only he's able to access
ever
to
elected to the United States Senate, and now I'm the oldest. This guy's 3 years younger and a lot less competent. I think that just look at the record.
You can't even walk up steps.
Horrible situation.
You can't even find your way off a stage.
15 million new jobs, 800,000 manufacturing jobs, more investment in America, over billions of dollars in private investment in enterprises that we are growing. By the way, we brought an awful lot of people. The whole idea of computer chips. We used to have 40% of the market. We invented those chips, and we lost it because he was sending people to find the cheapest jobs overseas and to bring home a product. So I went to South Korea. I convinced Samsung to invest billions of dollars here in the United States. And guess what? Those fabs, they call them, to build these chips, those fabs pay over $100,000. You don't need a college degree for them. And there's billions, about $40 billion already being invested and being built right now in the United States, creating significant jobs for Americans from all over the world.
President Biden, you have 40 seconds left. Would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I would. The idea that somehow we are this failing country. I never heard a president talk like this before. We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America for all our problems and all our opportunities. We're the most progressive country in the world in getting things done. We're the strongest country in the world. We're a country in the world who keeps our word, and everybody trusts us, all of our allies.
Yeah, that's thanks to it not being overrun by blue.
Kim Jong-un, we sent love letters to, and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one. A really good one. Like go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical.
Yeah, even Biden thinks that's funny.
And, we knock on wood wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball
the smartest
a long
person
way.
in the world.
And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30
the best shape of my life.
Probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a shape as I was years ago. I feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronnie Jackson, who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they'd never seen anybody ace him.
President Biden?
They've
never seen anyone ace him.
And only 220 pounds, or 35 pounds. Well, you said 6'4", 200. Well, anyway, that's what anyway, just take a look at what he says he is.
Yeah, take one, Biden. Come on.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap.
Yeah.
Okay, well, do it.
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
Put it on pay-per-view.
Let's not act like children.
President Trump, we're going to turn.
Let's not act like children.
To a specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable.
Stupid question.
And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again. We're a failing nation right now. We're a seriously failing nation. And we're a failing nation because of him. His policies are so bad. His military policies are insane. They're insane. These are wars that will never end with him. He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. We are very, very close to World War III, and he's driving us there. And Kim Jong-un and President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him. They don't fear him. They have nothing going with this gentleman, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want a World War III, let him follow and win, and let Putin say, do what you want, NATO. Just do what you want. There's a thing called Article 5. An attack on one is an attack on all, and required response. The idea, I can't think of a single major leader in the world who wouldn't trade places with the job I've done and what they've done. Because we are a powerful nation. We have wonderful peace. It's because of the people, not me. It's because of the American people. They're capable of anything, and they step up when they're needed. And right now, we're needed.
You've been failing, though.
The long safety of the state.
Then why haven't you backed up your claim? You've done everything wrong.
Go ahead and take Kyiv. Make sure they move on. See what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
Oh, please. He
President
could
Trump,
stop
as
it.
I come back to you for a follow-up. The question was, will you accept
been a meat
the
grinder.
results of this election, regardless of who wins?
Just to finish what he said, if I might, Russia, they took a lot of land from Bush. They took a lot of land from Obama and Biden. They took no land, nothing from Trump, nothing. He knew not to do it. He's not going to play games with me. He knew that. I got along with him very well, but he knew not to play games. He took nothing from me. But now he's going to take the whole thing from this man right here. That's a war that should have never started. It would have never started ever with me. And he's going to take Ukraine.
Yeah, I don't know. That's hard to say.
You know, you asked me a question before. Would you do this? He's got us in such a
That's
bad
one of his
position
polarizing
right now with Ukraine and Russia.
opinions there.
Because Ukraine's not winning that war. He said, I will never settle until such time. They're running out of people. They're running out of soldiers. They've lost so many people. It's so sad. They've lost so many people, and they've lost those gorgeous cities with the golden domes that are 1,000 years old, all because of him and stupid decisions. Russia would have never attacked if I were
President Trump,
president.
the question was, will you accept the results of the election, regardless of who wins? Yes or no, please.
If it's a fair and legal and good election, absolutely. I would have much rather accepted these, but the fraud and everything else was ridiculous. And if you want, we'll have a news conference on it in a week, or we'll have another one of these in a week. But I will absolutely, there's nothing I'd rather do. It would be much easier for me to do that than I'm running again. I wasn't really going to
He was
run
lucky to win it the
until I
first
saw the
time. Like
horrible
Hillary
job he
stole,
did.
like,
He's destroying our country. I would be
3
very
states
happy
at
to
least.
be someplace else, in a nice location someplace. And again, no indictments, no political opponents.
They stole a lot
because
more
it's the
last
only
time
way he thinks he
around.
can win. But unfortunately, it's driven up my numbers and driven them up to a very high level because the people understand it.
Let's see what your
But I
numbers
think this
are
is going to be
when
rigged
this
for
election
Trump
is
to
over.
win.
Let's see.
So they can push a
You're
bigger,
one.
harsher
When you
agenda
lost
of whatever
the
they're
first
planning
time,
on.
You continued, you appealed and appealed to courts all across the
So
country.
this is all just
Not
a
one single court in America.
bunch of silly
Said any of
nonsense.
your claims had any merit, state or
Can't get
local,
too wrapped up in
none.
it.
But you continue to provoke this lie about somehow there's all this misrepresentation, all this stealing. There is no evidence of that at all. And I tell you what, I doubt whether you'll accept it because you're such a whiner. The idea if you lose again, you accepting anything, you can't stand the loss. Something snapped in you when you lost the last time.
We'll be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate, live from Georgia.
This goes till 11? Holy fuck. It's getting pretty tiring. There's DJ Rudden next to me here. So what gear did you got? Is this the Adeline gear? Is that the shit that you bought with the bald? I think you got a Mog Pel that you could just trade in for an ambuscade cape. You got no earrings. You could get something on the AH. You need an ammo slot. You got no strap at all. Sure, you can find something on the AH. A level 7 neck piece. Jesus. If you want, we can get you some gear. You got nothing as far as accessories. Good Lord. Well, yeah, you don't really need much gear to do any of the quests, but if you're gonna want to, if you're gonna have to do some Rhapsodies of Vanadil, you gotta get some fucking gear. Yeah, you're completely empty on these slots. Did you have any of those Pels that you got during the campaign? Silver Pel or a red Pel, or you can trade one of those in for something. Yeah, you're a samurai. You can wear a strap that goes along with your. So you need like one of these capes. You could put something in this slot. You could put a strap in that spot. I can't with hand-to-hands. Yeah, you're pretty naked. Wonder how many times Trump's gonna bring up the border in the last half hour. It's always his go-to. Everything's fucked because of the border. So we can get you some good accessories if you want to go to Esha Zeta and we'll just kill a bunch of fucking NMs. In Zeta, you'll probably get some capes and some straps and some.
It is now time for the candidates to deliver
Earrings,
their closing
neck
statements
pieces.
as predetermined by a coin toss. We're going to begin with you, President Biden. You have 2 minutes.
We've made significant
We
progress.
kill some UCNMs. Those are quick and easy.
By President Trump and
Summon some
his last term.
UCNMs and just get some capes and
Find ourselves in a
accessories. Get
situation
something.
where, number one, we have to make sure that we have a fair tax system. I ask anyone out there.
But
in
you
the
don't want to
audience,
play.
anyone out watching this debate, do you think the tax system is fair?
That's fine. You can do what you
Fact
want.
is that I said nobody even making under $400,000 had a single penny increase in their taxes, and will not. And if I'm reelected, that'll be the case again. But this guy has increased your taxes because of the deficit. Number one, he's increased inflation because of the debacle he left after the way he handled the pandemic. And he finds himself in a position where he now wants to tax you more by putting a 10% tariff on everything that comes into the United States of America. What I did, when, for example, he wants to get rid of the ability of Medicare for us to be able to negotiate drug prices with the big pharma companies. Well, guess what? We got it down to $35 for insulin instead of $400. No more than $2,000 for every senior, no matter how much prescription they need. You know what that did? That reduced the federal debt by $160 billion over 10 years because the government doesn't have to pay the exorbitant prices. I'm going to make that available to every senior all along. It's happening now, and everybody in America. He wants to get rid of that. I'm going to make sure that we have child care. We're going to significantly increase the credits people have for child care. I'm going to make sure we do something about what we're doing on
how about deportation
and all the things that are causing health problems for people across the country. We're going to continue to fight to bring down inflation and give people a break.
Thank you,
How come you haven't made any strides of that yet? You were just president for 4 years and did none of that.
Politicians, this man is just a complainer. He said, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to get rid of this tax, that tax. But he doesn't do anything.
Exactly.
He doesn't do. All he does is make our country unsafe by allowing millions and millions of people to pour in.
Yes, the border.
Our military doesn't respect him. We look like fools in Afghanistan. We didn't stop Israel. It was such a horrible thing that would have never happened. It should have never happened. Iran was broke. Anybody that did
DJ, run it. If you want to get those stars on your head, you got to gear up. So you can actually fight these mobs on your own. You're not going to be able to get job points when you got no gear.
No money whatsoever.
You can't do any damage to any high-level mobs right now.
Happened.
Got to get you geared up. I've been offering to get you geared up.
In hell. We have the Palestinians and we have everybody else rioting all over the place. You talk about Charlottesville. This is 100 times Charlottesville, 1,000 times. The whole country is exploding because of you. Because they don't respect you, and they have to respect their president, and they don't respect you throughout the world. What we did was incredible. We rebuilt the military. We got the largest tax cut in history, the largest regulation cut in history. The reason he's got jobs is because I cut the regulations that gave jobs, but he's putting a lot of those regulations back on. All of the things that we've done, nobody's never seen anything like. Even from a medical standpoint, right to try, where we can try space-age materials instead of going to Asia or going to Europe and trying to get when you're terminally ill. Now you can go and you can get something. You sign a document. They've been trying to get it for 42 years. But you know what we did for the military was incredible. Choice for our soldiers, where our soldiers, instead of waiting for 3 months to see a doctor, can go out and get themselves fixed up and readied up and take care of themselves, and they're living. And that's why I had the highest approval rating in the history of the VA. So all of these things, we're in a failing nation, but it's not going to be failing anymore. We're going to make it great again.
Thank you, former President Trump, President Biden. Stay with us because we have full analysis of this debate. Anderson Cooper and Aaron Burnett.
Oh, yes.
Now
some fair analysis from our... These fucking CIA frauds. As they have to stand there awkwardly. What the hell's going on? Did the sound get cut off? What happened? Oh, no. Okay. That was retarded.
The president and former president making their way off the Senate debate stage. Looks like Joe Biden, the first lady, has come out. Former President Trump walking off the stage
on his own.
The first debate of the 2024
The first lady's going to come out.
Presidential debate
okay,
ever
Biden,
now in the
grab
books
onto my wrist and
tonight,
he's going to be escorted off the stage.
Voters might make of it.
Yep, he's slowly being escorted off the stage.
And swing state focus group.
He doesn't know it's over yet.
Vice President Harris getting fact checks from Daniel Dale.
Trump walks off the stage on his own and Biden's getting fucking escorted off. It's so hilarious.
Abby Phillip and David Axelrod and CNN chief.
Look at he's going over to shake the hands of the.
John, let me start with you. Your thoughts,
Anderson. This was a game-changing debate in the sense that right now, as we speak, there is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party. It started minutes into the debate, and it continues right now. It involves party strategists, it involves elected officials, it involves fundraisers. And they're having conversations about the president's performance, which they think was dismal, which they think will hurt other people down the party in the ticket, and they're having conversations about what they should do about it.
This is
Some
why
of
I
those
think,
conversations
like,
include, should we go to the White House
this is
and ask
set
the
up for
president to
Trump
step
to win.
aside?
Like, CNN
Others
is
are-
really
others of
setting the
conversations are about,
stage
should prominent
by
Democrats
admitting
go
that
public
just Biden's
with
a
that call?
disaster.
Because they feel this debate was so
Putting a
terrible.
lot of doubt.
They do say, in moments in the debate later, the president got better and got his footing, but then at the end, even his closing statement was a little halting. The contrast between the two candidates. Let me be clear. None of them, and a lot of Republicans, don't think Donald Trump had a great night. Donald Trump broke the fact-check machine more than I can count tonight. That will be on the record as we go forward. He refused to answer some very specific and direct questions about his conduct, about January 6th and what all. So that will be dealt with out there. And sometimes there's a parallel universe between
answered the January
the political
6th.
elites and the American
Didn't want to answer
people.
that
It'd be nice to
climate
see what
crap.
the voters say. But I can tell you, it started minutes in. It started with the first couple of answers, and it has continued throughout the night from a, oh my
Well,
God.
because Trump wanted to allude to the biggest problem in America right
oh my
now.
God, oh my God. to
The
what do we
fucking
do about
border.
this? And it involves very
I'm
senior
glad that
people
he
in the
kept
Democratic
going to
Party,
that and kept
including
pushing
elected
it on
officials,
him.
saying we have a problem.
Because that is the
co-sign
biggest.
what
People
John
are
is saying.
fed
I mean,
up
the
with
panic
it.
that I am hearing from Democrats is not like anything that I have heard.
The
in this
border and the
campaign so
economy are the
far.
two
And
things
a lot
right
of it
now.
has to do with, first of all, there was a deep frustration about Trump's lies. I mean, he lied a lot tonight. But the problem
So did
for
Biden.
was that Trump was able to take
They both just
sometimes incredible
gotta protect
falsehoods
their own
and turn them
ass.
into some kind of argument, whereas Biden's answers were, in a lot of cases, not coherent, deeply problematic, that he was not able to take pretty straightforward answers and answer them to the American public. And then
Anyway,
also,
so-
at some points, bringing things up that teed up Trump attacks. So
At least they're
there's
somewhat being
real
honest to where,
concern
yeah,
here
Biden
tonight
is just
that there's been some
ridiculous.
real damage done that cannot be undone. Biden solidified the perception among voters, but especially among his base. They were hoping that tonight would be a game changer. They are now seeing a president who is in the White House, who they do not necessarily believe can do this for another 4 years.
David Axelrod?
Look, I can't argue with either of them about how Democratic leaders are reacting to this poll. We said at the beginning,
But I think
that
the
each
table is
person
set.
had a
I really do
fundamental
think
goal,
that
and
Trump
for
is
Biden,
getting
that
in.
goal was to appear
And it will be
energetic,
whatever
engaged,
setup. Your vote
and
doesn't
look
mean
like
shit.
someone
It's
who
whatever the
is capable of
it's
serving
whatever,
for another
however the
4
script
years,
is.
for president. That was job
And it will
number
be
one.
Trump. I would be
actually
very
think
shocked
he
if they
scored a
give
bunch of points. I think if
Biden
you just
another
judge
run
this
here.
on
No,
sort
it's.
of policy stuff,
I think something big could be
he
happening in
did
the next
score
4
a bunch
years,
of
and
points on issues like
they're
abortion,
going to need
for
Trump
example,
as
on some of
president
the
to pull it
economic,
off. It could be
issues.
something big like COVID,
There
whether
is
they're
a-
planning
there
another
is a
war or
feeling-
whatever the
I
fuck
think
they
there
were
was
going
a
to do.
sense of shock, actually, at how he came out
They
at the
gotta
beginning
shove
of this
Trump in
debate,
there to pull it off.
How his voice sounded about, he seemed a little disoriented. He did get stronger as the debate went on, but by that time, I think the
So
panic
DJ Rudden,
had
we got to
set
get
in, and
you
I think
geared
we're gonna
up so
hear
that you can
discussions
go and
that I don't know,
solo some job
will
points whenever you
lead
feel
to
like
anything, but
grinding.
Because
You won't be getting them very fast with gear like that. You won't be able to kill anything.
Part of it is
It'll take you
Donald
forever
Trump
to
did
kill
not
one
meet
mob.
His mission either. He could not resist the the temptation to be nasty, to prevaricate about a whole bunch
Try and
of
look at
things,
some stuff that we can. I
about
don't
his
think
own
you have
record,
access to
about Biden's
Esha
record,
Ruan
and
yet.
to seem petty and small at times.
See if
So
you can
what you saw
keep
was a
doing
candidate
missions
who's
in the
deeply
meantime.
vulnerable,
Try
a
and get
person
more
who may not
Rapsies
be
of
able to take
Vanadil
advantage of it.
so we can get you to Rise and Jima.
If
You
anybody
got to
in
get to
America
Rise and
thinks that
Jima.
was even close
Then you can
to
start
being
soloing your
an
own.
okay debate by Joe Biden. I'm living in a parallel universe.
You can do those dragon
That was an
fights that are in your
unmitigated
Unity
disaster for
chat.
President Biden
That's
from
what the new
second he
players
walked
all
out
get to
to the
do.
closing statement. The biggest
That'll
issue
get
for
you some good
Democrats
stuff.
is
If you
abortion.
keep doing some
And
of
he
that
couldn't
every
give an
day,
answer.
you only have to
He
fight
gave an
like
answer,
3 dragons per day.
he couldn't even
It's
give
all
a
open.
coherent
Everyone
answer
fights
on the
it.
biggest issue
You're
for
basically just
for Democrats
leeching.
tonight.
You're
I've
basically
heard from
like it's.
leading Democrats.
It's very easy
across
to
the
build your
United
character
States,
up. You haven't
elected
started though.
governors, Congressmen who are texting me and saying, I'm worried I'm going to lose if Joe Biden's at the top of the ticket.
It's pretty easy to get you
Bob
geared up.
Casey, I promise you tonight in the state of Pennsylvania.
I can help you out
is
with it and
throwing
get you
up
on
in
a
his
good
mouth
start.
because he knows If he's got to stand
Then
next
you
to
can
Joe
get some
Biden,
fucking
he's going
capacity
down in
points. Then you can
Pennsylvania.
start getting some job
If
points.
he's on the ticket, I don't know how it's
Then
going to work.
eventually you'll get those stars over
it
your
was
head.
a really
But
disappointing debate performance from Joe Biden.
gotta
I
start
don't
with
think
some
there's
gear,
any way,
buddy
any
boy.
other way to slice it. His biggest
because you're not
issue
getting
that
into
he
any
had to
groups.
prove
You're
to
not
the
getting
American
in
people was
any
he had the energy, he had the
social
stamina,
LSs that can help you
and
get
he didn't
stuff.
do that. And so I think that is of concern. And
But I can get you
and I think
going.
for a lot of
I can
Democrats,
help you
that's
get
very,
you
That's
going.
very disappointing. I will say Donald Trump also
Does the
had
sub
some
job
really
only
rough
go up to level
moments in this debate.
49?
And,
It
you know,
goes
talking to the
higher
Biden campaign, they
once
say,
you get
you know, their
job
dials,
mastered.
started really moving
But you got to
away
get
from
job
Trump as he
mastered
was increasing his
first.
personal
Then you
attacks
can
on
start
Biden.
earning
So I think there was a
exemplar
lot about
points.
his
Like
kind
the
of
grind never
character
ends.
and the kind of personal
But your
nastiness
sub
that he
job
was putting
starts
on
going
display.
up.
You know, that doesn't help him with the swing voters that he
See,
needs.
I'm level.
You know, and I also think you saw
I got
him
56
continue to
warrior.
get
I got a
sort of more and more
56
animated
level
across
sub
the
job.
course of the debate, and you know,
Your
get
sub
some
job
really
goes up every
problematic answers about
5
January 6th, some really
master
problematic
levels,
answers about
which you
Putin.
get with
So,
exemplar
you know, Donald Trump
points.
did not get
You
off
can't get
scot-free
exemplar
tonight by any
points
stretch, but
until
look,
you're
there
job
is
mastered.
no two ways
Until
about
you
it.
get
That was not a good debate
2,100
for Joe
job
Biden.
points. You see how like the grind is
That was
never ending.
painful. I
So
love Joe Biden.
it's
I worked
going to
with Joe
take
Biden.
you.
He didn't do well at all.
You won't be getting your sub job up for probably another
He did not do
who
well
knows
at
how
all.
long.
And he
However
worked-
long it takes you to get job
you know,
mastered.
I'll give you the analysis.
And if you're
you know,
doing
kind of
that all
the old man
solo,
versus
that
the
will
con
take you a
man.
long fucking time.
I can walk you through how I'm supposed to see it and say it, but I just want to speak from my heart. I love that guy. That's a good man. He loves his
If
country.
you really want to take this
He's
game
doing the
to a
best that he
hardcore
can.
level,
But he had a test
I would
me
almost
tonight,
suggest changing
to restore
servers, like
confidence,
get
of
into
the
a server
country and of
that's
the
got
base,
a lot
and he
more
failed to do that.
shit going on. This is an
And I
empty
think there's
server.
a lot of people who are going to want to see him consider.
You're not going to find a lot of link shells that
taking a
are
different course
doing
now.
job points.
We're still far from
older
our convention,
contents.
and there is time for this party to figure out a different way forward if he will allow
People
us
that
to
are
do
on
that.
this server, mostly people that have
But
been
that
playing
was,
for a long time.
Not what we needed from
in
Joe
their own,
Biden.
and they're in their own
Personally
little
painful
groups.
For a lot of people, it's not
You got to
just
get to
panic,
a
it's pain
a much
of what we saw tonight.
well-populated server.
And if I may just add to that, I think Joe Biden lost in the first 3 minutes. I think a lot
Like
of voters
Bahamut or
probably
something.
tuned out, and millions of people are having conversations with their families, with their friends, of if the president is up to the task and if he should step aside. And I'm someone who believes the former president is a threat to democracy. I think
But
he
yeah,
is a threat
yeah, don't have to
to
worry
the
about any
America as
leveling
we
up
know
your
it. He
sub
wants to
job
fundamentally
anymore. It's
change
going to
our
be stuck at
institutions.
49
He
for
has laid out what
a
his
long
plan
ass
is.
time.
I am not confident that that is the man to take him on. You cannot tell me democracy is on the line and then give that performance
There are
tonight.
more Bernie
If,
Sanders
based on that,
fans.
in 18 weeks, Donald Trump
He
will
would have
be
been better
the
than Trump or
president-elect.
Biden. Yeah, I
The
think so
people
too. I
doing
think Bernie
focus
Sanders
groups
would have had a
tonight,
better
and we'll see
chance.
if our dial group with Laura Coates confirms this. Say that Biden actually scored.
But it didn't matter. This is Biden's the face that they wanted to rig
and
the
Trump's
election
numbers went
with.
down both because he was ducking questions, he was lying about some things, and he was refusing to answer in some of
They
the
thought
some of it was
Biden would be
tone.
the
They don't
bigger,
like it.
better
So when you
puppet
see
master.
that, you know, when you see sort of the statistics, you know, you're going to look at like, oh, that's a mixed bag. But to Vance's point about the president's performance, that's what caused the panic. So the question is, and my question actually is, what happens? Because to his, it's a great political
But
strength
anyways,
of Joe Biden.
done with this
it's his
shit.
resilience and his stubbornness. It's also sometimes a blind spot because he is so stubborn. It's going to be very hard to someone, and I don't know who it is, who could go to Joe Biden and say, you need to do this. Number one.
Okay, no more. Well, that was mildly entertaining. Trump is always fun to listen to. Everything's always the best, the worst. See, like, Biden's the worst president in history. The worst border. Yeah, the worst border in the history of the world. And, like, oh, it's so funny. He's the best. Again, my favorite Trump line is the ballot boxes. The ballot boxes were stuffed more than anything has ever been stuffed before. Oh, that was the best. That was the best line, Trump line ever. Did the Fever get stomped? Or are they getting stomped? That game started at 10 o'clock Eastern. Are the Storm just destroying them right now? I don't know how good that team is. Sucks. The game's not going to be aired for me on Monday. Stupid. None of the broadcast networks or anything they're not showing the Fever game this Sunday. It's supposed to be another big game. The Fever suck. I kind of hope they keep losing. Because if they just keep like staying afloat, they're never going to change. They're not going to fire that fucking coach that's complete trash. Christy Sides. She's terrible. And I heard the Fever cut like one of their best defensive players. They like drafted or something one of the top 10 best defensive players, and they just cut her without even giving her any floor time. A team that desperately needs to build their defense, and they just cut the best defensive player. Like this team is backwards. Like I think like people are now saying Caitlin Clark needs to get the hell out of there. Like she needs to demand a trade or something. Like this Indiana Fever organization is a shit show, and it's just the coaching is terrible. The players are just god awful. That Erica Wheeler is the worst player on the team, and Kelsey Mitchell, she's bad as well. She's like sort of hit or miss, but mostly bad. That Erica Wheeler is a fucking just killing the team. And every time Caitlin Clark passes the ball, she never sees it again. Even Aaliyah Boston, I noticed, like she's like double covered and she still tries to go for the fucking shit. Just pass the ball back. Don't you ever watch like how the NBA players are doing it? If you're in the fucking key and you're getting double teamed, all right, pass it back to one of your shooters and flip the ball around. Get it into the corner for the wide open three. Don't you watch the NBA? Like, that's how they do it. It's easy to set up a 3-point shot. You got Caitlin fucking Clark. She should be taking at least 20 shots a game, not like 11. But they have a bonehead coach. That Caitlin Clark needs to get the hell out of there. Well, get the hell out of the league is what I think she should do, but she's got to get off that team. It's terrible. It's just poorly run. It's Indiana Fever. It's a joke. It's a shithole. So yeah, they're getting blown out in the first half. No surprise. The screen is black silver wings. I minimize here. You want it back up? There you go. I didn't play much of this game today. I did one little ambuscade run, and that was it. This is another thing you can do too, DJ Running. Go into your ambuscade battles, and you can fight this on very easy. You can get some currency. You can start building towards your cape. You could do that, but, Volume 2, you start doing these on very easy. I don't even know if you have the gear to do this on very easy. Regular ambuscade, and it's level 109 on very easy. You can get some currency to grind towards your cape, but I think you can get a free cape if you saved one of those Mog Pels. I don't know if you got one of those. But you can get a free cape, and that's will save you a lot more. You go to rewards. These are the best capes in the game that you got to build up. Where's the rewards? Talk to the. That's the book. The book is where you enter the dungeons, but rewards. You want to get this cape. You get it with just regular hallmarks, and it's at the very back of the pages here. These are like the items you buy to augment your cape. Threads and dust and sap. And you just look up ambuscade rewards. This is the ambuscade content. Where's the capes? Aren't they? Oh no, you get it with total rewards. So total hallmarks is where you buy them. And you can buy augmented items with here as well. There's so many ways you can buy stuff. The body gear. Where the fuck is the... Where the hell is the actual fucking capes? Maybe you get them another way now. I gotta look into it. I thought you bought the capes with this currency. Maybe you could just get them for free now. I don't know. No, the game has changed. Did they just expect you to get the capes with the fucking... Do do do. Ah, fuck. What the hell? Why doesn't it have the capes listed? You can get all the items with the augment. You can get all the augmented items here, but it's not showing where to buy the capes. I don't think this is anything. Items to purchase with hallmarks. Yeah, it's all the currency stuff, but I don't have the list of capes. Well, maybe there's a coupon that just lets you that you just buy and then you turn it in and then you get to choose the. Oh, here it is. So they don't give you the whole list now. Now they just get a voucher. That's right. Okay. So you get the voucher. It's only 500, but on very easy, I think you only get about 75 per battle. But you should have an item to get you a free cape, but you buy that and then you just trade that voucher to the NPC and then you get to choose your cape. There you go. That's why they don't have them all individually. Okay. They made it easier to where you just buy the voucher and then you get to choose. But that's something that you can work on your own. Or I can help you get it faster by just joining my party and I can get you. Yeah, if you want to do ambuscade, we can. And you can just leech. You can just leech some shit off me. We can do very easy intenses. Like, look, I got 201 battles. So, 3 battles. You gotta come with me. You guys gotta join me in. And then we can get you a cape. Just leech off me and I'll get you 600 points. And then I'll get you a cape. And that's a good start. That'll give you a nice boost. Like, yeah, it won't take long. We can get you some fucking gear. And then we can just go to Eshazita and I can just start popping NMs and killing stuff. And boom, you'll have some really sweet stuff. But in the meantime, yeah, keep going at those missions. Because Rhapsodies of Vanadil is what you gotta keep progressing in. That expansion, but that has limitations because you have to have your missions beat in certain expansions. So keep trying to do that Rhapsodies of Vanadil. If you need help killing anything there, let me know. Because you might have some roadblocks. You might have to defeat a notorious monster that might kick your ass. Because you're not geared. You're not geared and you don't have any job points. So, well, there's a lot of work to be done in that game. A lot of work. Alright, I'm getting out of here. That was kind of, that wasn't the best stream ever, but whatever. We had some laughs. If you guys got any final thoughts, go right ahead. I know I try not to get on one too political side too much. Obviously, I favor the conservatives, but man, I was Republicans / conservatives, but man, I don't know, man. It's just everything's always shit, no matter who's in power. Thanks for stopping by, Silver Wings. Hope you're having fun with. Did you beat Ninja Golf? I think you did, eh? Did you beat it? Yeah, that game takes me a little bit of a practice. It's a little bit finicky. Those later levels, like trying to fight the sharks and the ninjas get pretty crazy. You have to like rapidly press the button and hope that the button doesn't get jammed on your controller, and hopefully it responds all right. I had a hard time playing Ninja Golf on the Atari collection because I think having a little bit of that input lag, you can't quite kick in time, and I found it was hard to spam the kick a little bit, and I think attacking the enemies was a little bit harder. You gotta hope that the one-ups spawn. Sometimes you get fucked over on the spawn items. Hope that the health potions spawn at the right time, so it can save you a life. Sometimes you get shit out of luck on the spawns or on the item drops. Sometimes your runs can be shit. Sometimes you can get really lucky and get potions when you need them, Right when you're near death, like a potion will drop. Like yes. Sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky. I always take the path, like try and go over the water areas that are the slimmest. You can also manipulate the stages a little bit. You know how you keep switching from grass to plains to desert to if you like hit the ball along the borders of the levels of the areas, you can keep like switching back and forth really quickly between grass and plains and grass and plains where it's like the enemies keep despawning and you can just like keep running through the level by just switching back and forth constantly. It's hard to explain, but you can like direct the ball where it just goes along the border so that you're constantly switching back and forth um, between backgrounds, between phases, and you can kind of lighten up on enemies a bit. You can kind of cheat your way to the ball. Because once you get near the edge of the screen, the enemies despawn. So you can keep manipulating the stage like that a little bit. It can help you out a little bit. And you were doing that strategy, yeah. It's kind of a cheap way to progress a little bit. It kind of works. But yeah, I think I found that game played way better on original hardware, where I was kind of having a hard time with the button inputs on the Atari 50th because of just that slight input lag was fucking up my kicks. I wasn't able to kick fast enough because those enemies come at you quite a bit. You have to you got to really rapidly kick, and sometimes it gets a little overwhelming. And I think the input lag hurts it a little bit. Yeah, it took a little bit of practice, but yeah, I was able to beat the game like pretty consistently when I practiced it a bunch. It's a fun game, and then those final areas with the dragon, where the dragon's just moving so goddamn fast, it almost like hurts your eyes a bit. Like that, I don't like how fast that gets. You just gotta really be focused and really be that dragon moves awfully fast, and you gotta get into the rhythm of where you're dodging it. You can sort of get into a rhythm where you know where to dodge the flame. You gotta stay really focused. Yeah, it's okay. It's an alright game, but things could have been tweaked a little bit. Alright, I'm out of here. You guys have an amico day. Yeah, K2, and even you, Biden. Biden is Yoshi. Oh, for fuck's sakes. That was funny. Trump just kept going, kept using the border, the kept drawing the border card, which was hilarious. And then, yeah, Trump saying it's the worst border in in the history of the world and stuff like that. That was hilarious. Everything's the best. Everything's the worst. It's classic Trump. All right, you guys have an amico day, including you. You. Yoda. Yoda. I have an idea, guys. You. And even you, Yoshi. Have an amico day, everybody.